Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Hi.
It would really help if I unmuted my microphone. I'm
Yeah.
just here talking.
mm. Okay. Do turn your volume down a little bit. I'm hearing feedback. Yeah, and you actually, and we're gonna make sure and I'm gonna mute your mic so we could make sure. All right. Testing 1 2. No. You're Ashley. Turn your mic on. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. You can hear me, Ashley?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
All right. We good. Diane, I'm turning you on now.
Alrighty.
Testing 1 2. Testing. Turn your mic down just a little bit, Diane. Or your sound.
How's that?
Testing 1 2. Test. Testing 1 2. Sound good. All right.
All right.
Get
it.
I'm still getting a little bit of feedback, but it's not that bad. We're gonna rock with it. That's Diana. You just muted your mic, Ashley. Go ahead. All right. So, good evening, everyone. You're here at BlackMALEd Podcast Discussions. Just to start off, I'm gonna tell you why I'm over here looking like a crackhead with a jean jacket on. This is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So the thing for sexual assault awareness is denim. And for that, just to show a little awareness that I'm gonna go ahead and put this little ribbon over in the corner, right there, that denim ribbon for sexual assault awareness for everybody. That are victims of sexual assault or know anybody that are victims of sexual assault. I have some guests today, like always. On my discussions, I'll try to get people to come through and share their views about topics, whether it's debate or whether just a natural discussion, something that we want to talk about. And lately, I've been on this thing about saving the Black community, so this goes right in line with it. The title of this is "Heavy is the Head That Wears the Tiara." So now I've gave you the title, I want to introduce my guests, or I want to let them introduce themselves. We're going to start with you, Diana, because you are new to the channel.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Diana. I'm a mom, 2 girls here in Atlanta. Just the regular folks that's, kind of in the ground, see what's going on. So you can check me out on Mondays and Fridays on my live show on the Drama Club podcast and live. And yeah, I'm excited to get in on this discussion. So
okay, so as y'all saw on the intro, I put their drama podcast and lounge, like their little marquee up there, and you can go check them out on Facebook. They go live Monday through Saturday, right, Diana?
We just switched to Monday and Fridays, and we have our guest on Wednesdays now. So
okay, so it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Right, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Cool. All right, well, welcome. Man, appreciate you coming through and having a discussion.
Like I said, I'm super excited.
Go ahead, sis.
All right. So for the ones that don't know who I am your favorite 504 girl. I am the creator of Black Girl Interrupted. You can catch me every Tuesday, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I am on all streaming platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm all over the place. Baby, put in Black Girl Interrupted and guess what? You're going to see me. And I'm absolutely ecstatic about the conversation because this is right up my alley.
Mm-hmm. Well, welcome back, Ashley. So this is how we're gonna start. I'm gonna start it with Diana because we had we was back and forth. When I joined the group, we was back and forth with some stuff and with discussion, right? And you brought up something. I said we was gonna put a pin in that thing, right? And we're starting off. Well, first of all, before we do that, this is what we're gonna do. I want to get y'all take. Hold on 1 second. I want to get y'all take on this right here. Pull it up right quick. Come on. And I was running late. I should have restarted my computer. It might have a little lag in it, but we're gonna rock with it. I want to get y'all take on this image right here. First, Diana, what do you get from this image? Artwork is something that sparks something in people, and everybody might see it and see something different and can bring out something different. Go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah, like a picture's worth 1,000 words. This looks like the Black woman kind of got the carrying the world on her back. They say Black women are the moral compass of the world. And while also having to birth the world. So not only do you have to it's kind of saying not only do I have to carry the world, I also have to birth the world. So I guess that's just that quick first glance. I'm thinking.
Okay, Ash, go ahead.
We got the weight of the world on our shoulders. They expect us to do everything. They expect us to take care of the home, take care of the children, and still try to maintain and wear that tiara. That's it's so many things that I could see about this picture, but they expect us to carry everything. If you notice in the picture, she's carrying the baby. So she's nurturing, she's taking care of the baby while still trying to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders, whether that be her job, her career, maybe the house, and still trying to wear the crown and still trying to remain strong. As you see, she's still trying to stand upright. So it's, I'm with you, Diana. I agree with what you just said. I just piggybacked off of what you said.
Okay, so what I get, and since I kind of put it together, I found the artwork and I put the tiara on that just to let you know what I did, my portion of putting to this piece of artwork. I had this idea a while ago, and I was supposed to do a live last week, and it fell through, or whatever. Some people backed out or whatever. But anyway, I had this idea based on talking to Diana and talking to some other people. I go through different groups and I just post stuff, and I have different discussion debates. It comes from the original idea. This comes from Atlas. If anybody knows anything about Greek mythology, Atlas was responsible for keeping the world in its axis, basically keeping the world up where it belongs. And basically, what I see as of slavery, past slavery, whatever, Atlas wasn't holding the world up. It was the Black people that held the world up, and they were, it was on our backs, cotton and everything else, at least America, and it spanned out throughout the world because we were the superpower for the longest time. And the Black woman was responsible for carrying a lot of that weight, as far as taking care of the white people kids, and keeping stuff together during slavery. At some point we got let out of slavery, and we started getting back together, and as Black folks, and y'all was our queen, we were sisters and brothers, and everything. We were still carrying the weight of the world because basically this world runs off of Black people finances, whatever. And Black women, y'all are majority of the ones that are sponsoring everything. They basically in y'all pockets all the time. So that's where I get this from. My take on it, as far as from a man's point of view. I'm gonna take this down, and we're gonna get in discussion and talk to Diana about our discussion. So something you said, and I said we're gonna put a pin in it. You said something about we were talking about Black men and women dealing with each other, relationship dynamics, and you said, well, my comment was that there are more viable Black women than viable Black men today. And I had two other gentlemen I wanted to have on. We had a discussion. I invited them. One of them told me yeah, the other one didn't. He said yeah on the comment, and when I sent him a message, he didn't comment, whatever. Anyway, but I wanted to have the other young brother on because we had opposing views. We were men, but we all three of us had opposing views, so I wanted to have them on and have this discussion also. Your comment back was because of patriarchy. That's why there are more viable Black women than Black men. So I want you to expound on that.
Absolutely. So pretty much since the onset of the Abrahamic religions, so about 2,000 years ago, and let me preface this with saying I'm Christian. So,
okay.
Everything I'm about to say, understand that, it's still a lot of that in me. But prior to the Abrahamic religions, women were on a more equal playing field. Sexuality, when they were tribal, it was everybody was having sex with everybody. The children in the tribe belonged to everybody. There was no who's the biological, that wasn't an issue. If you were a child born in this tribe, everybody your daddy, everybody your mama. And so once the Europeans came over to colonize, and they said that this is savagery, how you guys are living, basically, even though it was working for, a lot of the world, this kind of being in power wasn't or being the leader wasn't based off of your gender. It was based off other stuff, but it wasn't, a woman could be the leader of the tribe, man could be, it wasn't because you're a man and you're supposed to lead. Well, they said that was savage, it was uncivilized, and that's not the way God wanted to be. So they came and they subjected women, they made them below the man. They controlled their sexuality and told them, this is what women do. This is what femininity is. It's men telling women how to be women. So that just stuck, at least in the Western world. I can't talk about, I don't really know what's going on in other countries, but when you come to America, it's been men telling women, this is what you're supposed to look like. This is what you're supposed to smell like. This is what you're supposed to dress like. Even when women tell you, this is what we do, or this is how we think. No, that's not how you think. That's not what you do. That's what we're getting back. So what I mean by the patriarchy is our society has been telling us forever that a woman has to have a man. You have to have a romantic partner in order to be validated. Even today, you can see in comment sections when, we get these discussions back and forth. Number one, insults. That's why you're single. No man's going to want you like this. That's why those are still insults, because we have been conditioned to think as women that you're supposed to have a man. And if you don't have a man connected to your thoughts, your opinions, your accomplishments are not valuable. And so, it don't take many generations to kind of get that embedded, because even the women think that, even the women think, I gotta have a man. I gotta have a man to lead me. Lead you where? You're a functioning adult with the fully developed frontal lobe, with logic and reason and emotion, just like all humans have. What is it that this man is going to lead you to that you can't lead yourself? And that's not to say that men aren't, like, that you shouldn't have a man or that they're not valuable. It's just, why is he more valuable than you?
Okay. Ashley, I gotta go step up because I forgot my notes in another room. Go ahead on and give me your take on what Diana was saying about patriarchy. I'm gonna be listening while I'm going to walk another room. But go ahead and give your take while I'm going away.
I mean, she basically said it all. I mean, in this day and age, it's almost like if you don't have a man, you're invalid. You're not high value. Like, you must be in a relationship. How are you in your 30s and you're not married, or you have no children? You'll get what I'm saying? And to go back to what you were saying, in the very beginning, we were equal. Men and women did the same thing. When the war came, guess what? We were all on the front line. Women weren't on the back, the mothers, the kids. We were all together on the front line. But then here we move into this. And like you say, men are telling you, oh, you're not a woman if you don't dress like this. You're not a woman. You're too masculine if you speak this way, if you walk this way, if you talk this way. How are you going to tell me how to be a woman and you're not a woman? You get what I'm saying? You can't tell me how to be a woman and you're a man. And then here comes the validation. Oh, well, you don't have a man because you're too strong. Nobody wants a woman that makes more, no man wants a woman that makes more money than them. Why? So now we're placing monetary value on a relationship. So just because, so men look at us like we don't know how to be submissive. We're too what's the word they use now? We're too masculine. And we need to relax our masculinity and embrace our femininity. Okay, well, once you create that space for me to be feminine, then I will relax my masculine energy. But until you do that, I've got to hold it down. You know, people look at me and they're like, Ashley, how are you in your 40s and you're not married? Does that make me less of a woman?
Right, right. But and to what we were talking about in that discussion, to that point, a lot of women internalize that. Nobody wants to feel worthless. So that's where that phrase, a piece of a man is better than no man, comes from. That's why you see so many women in these relationships and you like, well, you picked them, but you're telling me that I'm not valuable without a man. So now at least I can say I got a man and now maybe I'll be hurt. So it's a lot of deep seated, and that's their, mothers is telling their daughters, like, it's okay if he cheat on you. That's just what a man gonna do.
Right.
You paying your bills, you got to stay there. And now your daughter got AIDS because she's staying around. Like.
But Diana, I just had this conversation Friday when I spoke about Russell Wilson, Sierra, and Shannon Crowder. And the comment that he made, and this, is not derailing from what we're talking about because it really ties into what we're speaking about, is they made Sierra feel like you were dumb for leaving Future. Why though? At some point, you mature. You get what I'm saying? And you no longer want to live in a toxic environment anymore. You get what I'm saying? But people, let me say this new generation makes you feel bad for upgrading. Matter of fact, let me change that. This new generation makes you feel bad for gaining assets and getting rid of liabilities. And I'm gonna be quiet on that.
And just to go to that point, I think it's more so that a lot of men are upset that he got with Sierra after Future. It's not so much Sierra; they just don't think Sierra deserves a Russell Wilson because of who she previously dated, because she had a baby, and this guy has got so much money, and he could have had any woman that he wanted, and he chose the single mother. He corny.
Right.
He's a simp. Right. He's a lame. But you don't even know your father to be calling another. Who raised you? Who taught you how to be a man?
I got to go. Let me log out.
Future taught you how to be a man.
And that goes back to your comment when you said, when you spoke about the village, when everybody was, this man, do you realize how many broken homes this man has created?
Right.
Future has what, 8 children by what, 8 different women?
Right. But
this is what they normalize now.
Right. And that's what's cool.
This is the new norm, so to say, is you're supposed to settle. You're not
supposed to grow. You're not supposed to change. You're not supposed to learn from your mistakes. You're stuck in this hole because I feel like I'm stuck in this hole. And how dare you elevate out of it and not bring me with you?
And this is why you end up with the type of men you end up with, because you're settling.
Right. But like I said, it goes back to the patriarchy, because a lot of women do that because they just need to have a man. And going back to what Will and I was discussing, this is why these women are getting these BBLs and they're wearing tons of makeup and they're dressing like thoughts and they're doing this and they're doing that, because it's a supply and demand situation. If you're telling me I need to be married to be valuable, and I'm dressing like the wholesome kindergarten school teacher, but you're not giving me no play, but the Megan Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's and the Instagram models, you whining and dining them, and you're to this point now you're marrying them. To this point, you're actually marrying them.
The facade.
I am going to assimilate because I need to be accepted in this society. I need to feel like I matter in here. So if you're saying in your mouth, you're saying from your mouth, we hate the lashes, we hate the weaves, we hate the body enhancements, we hate all of this, but your attention is going right to what you say you hate.
Okay, let me jump in there because y'all went to like 10 different points.
I'm sorry.
Y'all
Oh,
went like
we
on a
sorry.
10-point rant.
I'm
So
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm going to address the initial. I'm going to address the initial. We're going to work our way back down to the 10.
Okay.
Right? So the initial thing was about the patriarchy. All right, so the thing about the patriarchy, and I agree with you when you was talking about how we initially started off, and you talk a lot about the monogamy versus poly stuff, Diana, and which is cool because that's something that people don't understand. We were given this, what we have now. We were given this by white folks, but the patriarchy itself, and we have to distinguish the difference between men, white men, and black men. That's something I think women don't do a lot of times when they start talking about the patriarchy. The black man has never had reign over the black woman in America. They've never had it. Maybe personally, on a micro scale, family, in the family, if you had a husband, he had reign over the household. But as far as in our community, the black man never had real reign. Y'all never was up under us. We were always and I like to put this quote. You say Christianity, so you be with Christianity. So there's a meme that has God above an umbrella with the husband there, then the other umbrella is the wife, then the other umbrella the kids, right? So that wasn't how this community was built. This community was God, white people, husband, if you're black, a black husband, a black wife, whatever. So we were always underneath the white people setting rules for us and laws for us in this country. Nowhere else, but we're speaking about black folks, slaves, we're ancestors of slaves in America. This is how we always set up. So in our country, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna give it back to y'all so y'all could give me your take on this. In our community, we were never a patriarchy. In our community, it operates as a matriarchy or a gynocracy. Do y'all agree with that? What I just said about how we operate in the black community?
Nah.
Tell me why you don't.
I believe we've always been a patriarchy.
In the black community?
Even in the black community.
Okay.
But here's the thing I think a lot of people miss is that even though we were a patriarchy, granddaddy and great granddaddy valued grandma.
Okay. So the thing is, I'm not talking about interpersonal. I'd say like in the household.
Okay.
It was a structure in the household. We're talking about the community. We're talking about
community. Even in the community, though, women, like when you look at, when you see like pictures from the civil rights and the civil rights movements, you don't see a bunch of women on the front lines, even though they were there. Probably more in number or at least equal in number. You don't get that same push and play as you get from the men. The men were leading then.
Okay. So the Black Panthers had women strongly. I want you to look up the Black Panthers. Women were strongly integrating the Black Panthers. The speakers were a lot of women. That's why during the feminist movement, they went to go after the women because the speakers, like they held an important role. Now the men were the muscle.
Right. And so I'm not suggesting that the women didn't have any kind of say in what was going on. Okay. What I'm saying is the patriarchy makes it look like there weren't. So you actually have to go, because I have to actually go and research and see what the women were doing. That right there speaks to the patriarchy. Because I don't really have to research what the men were doing. I can scroll down my timeline and see it's right there in my face. But I got to go and dig and try to and names I can say about women that nobody's heard of. That's patriarchy.
Okay. So the way the media portrayed the patriarchy, that's one aspect. Ash, I'm about to give you a question right quick. Today, we're moving from the 60s, right? Because we jump back to 60s with your comment, Diana. Today, who can tell Black women anything?
Nobody.
Okay. Who can tell black men something?
We can.
Black women, right?
Black women, we do. But do black men listen to us?
Well, that's neither here nor there. When black men say stuff to black women, right? You can't tell me anything, right? And this is we're strictly talking about the black community.
But
This is
that's a
how,
generational thing.
and it might be generational. It might be generational. Black men, we might not listen, right? And we're gonna get into the whole other stuff you was talking about because that goes into that. But we're gonna stay right here about how a patriarchy and how a society is ruled, right? Um, so, 1 second. Let me bring.
But to elaborate what Diana was saying, you heard about the women on the front line.
Mm-hmm,
You heard.
mm-hmm.
But when you turned on the news, you pulled up a newspaper article, a magazine article. Who did you see on the front? The
Mm-hmm.
men.
Yeah. So during that time, women was fighting. They joined the white women, and I've said this in last week before last, whatever. A couple podcasts said this, right? The black women, for whatever intense purpose, whatever, if it was black men that did it, that made women feel a certain way, or it was rather men in general. Specifically, I believe specifically that like women do not distinguish men. It's just like men get thrown out there. There's a difference between white men, there's a difference between black men, there's a difference between male, and there's a difference between men. They are all different titles, they're all different attributes, they're all different, whatever. So I think we were like just given, okay, this is what men feel about women. Damn y'all, we going over here with the enemy. And that's what it was. White women were the enemy. They used y'all as fuel to fuel their movement. Black power movement, once it was taken, eradicated, they took the black women over by them and said, okay, y'all got a place right here. Y'all can be the main focus, this, that, the other. They gave y'all something and they took it back because after the feminist movement, they didn't have y'all it was done. It was done for black women. Y'all was pushed underneath the rug, swept underneath the rug, and fuel used, and that's what it was. This community is what it is after the fact of a feminist movement. You had something to say, Diana?
Yeah, I could get with that. First of all, with the question about who can tell black men anything, nobody. Okay. We can't tell y'all nothing. I don't agree. We cannot tell you nothing because if I'm telling it to you and you're not listening, because you can actually telling me something, you can tell me something all day, but if I don't listen to you, like I can't. So when you say somebody is telling you something, I can't stop you from speaking. So you can tell me anything, right?
No, y'all but do if I don't for speaking, I'm gonna tell you how y'all do it. I'm gonna tell you how you do it.
What he's saying is black men will listen to us before they listen to anybody.
More than black women listen to black men. That's
and see, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that.
So I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you exactly why, right? We have let me put it this way. Do you think women have more grace for black men than black men have for black women?
Absolutely.
You think black women do?
Absolutely.
Do y'all have a history of working with black men longer than black women have a history of working with black women?
Absolutely.
That's not true. I'm gonna tell you why. 80% mothers single parent rate.
Right.
80%. Now, if we have an 80% mothers, men have to be born by mothers. They have to work with their mothers all their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get out in the workforce, they be around women. Then they go interpersonal with relationships, they be around women. Black men have always kind of been around women, have been whatever. Majority of women, if it's 80% women led, majority of these women are not dealing with men at all. So when they get down to interpersonal, relationship wise, y'all don't know how to deal with us. Y'all don't know how to interact with us, right? Now it could be skewed, and I'm gonna say this. I mean, this is a caveat. It could be skewed because the mother dynamic, then you have these son husbands. Ashley, you spoke on it, you did videos on that. I've did a video on that. You get that, which is skewed. It's very skewed, but it's still a situation where we worked with our mother. So we worked up with our mother. We were interacting with our mother. So when a black woman says something, y'all might not think we hear it, but guess what? It hits us harder than if a black man tells black woman something, because y'all just deflect the shit out of what we say. Y'all will deflect it. Y'all will come up whatever and move on. And y'all have sisters that just, y'all do very well at doing that. Women, men need to take this into consideration, right? If if a man says something about a woman, y'all will band together. Y'all will. And the term I'm about to use is not a derogatory term because I'm gonna prove this later. What I'm about to say about this, but y'all will act like a pack of hyenas.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all act like a pack of hyenas and get on this man and demolish and destroy this man. So black men, when it comes to black women, you'll see some men over here attacking the same black man, even though we said could have had some truth to it, right? You don't they don't get a chance to explain yourself because I've been in that situation. I've said certain things, and it's like attack, 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 attack. And I'm like, oh, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, dude, you don't even understand. Like, I am, if you want to call it, and I hate this, that I have to say this, but if you want to talk about somebody as an ally for black women, it is me because of the fact that I've put my neck on the line for black women in public. Like, I have 7 nieces, well, 8 nieces, if you call it, through marriage. And I have, oh no, I'm lying. Hold on. 12. I don't know. Anyway,
Got a
I
lot
got
of nieces.
and I have a granddaughter. So if anybody's going to speak up for black women and going to put their neck on line, it will be me. Not saying I don't have my biases because I am a black man. I have my biases about some things, and I talk to women all day long and it checks my biases sometimes. One second, I'm gonna read this comment, and then we're gonna get back to what I was saying. Black men will listen to black women only if they respect them, and some of these men wasn't raised to respect women. Well, I mean, who are we going to blame about that? Who's raising black men? Think about it. Who is raising black men? 80% single mothers. Who's raising black men? And every time a woman says that, well, who raised you? You're talking about a black woman. That's really not an insult on a black man. It's an insult on the woman that birthed him and raised him.
But here's the thing, and where black mothers don't get shown the grace, right? If we're in a war, if America goes to war, and we're being attacked, and half the army leaves, and half the army stays, whose fault is it if we lose? Is it the ones that stay, or is it the ones that left? Whose fault is it?
It's the ones that left because they didn't have the numbers. So what are you talking about? Well, I mean,
what I'm saying is, so to bring it back to what we're talking about, if black men, you are leaving your children with these women that you say you can't take because she's so toxic and she's so abusive and she's so this and she's so that, and you leaving your babies in the front line to be raised by them. How is that not your
you give me
fault?
a full sentence because I don't know what that's about, the angry black woman. I don't want to misquote you, anything like that. So, when you put stuff out, just give me a full thing.
Right.
I don't want to get off track with this. I'm listening to that. Go ahead.
But I'm saying, like, so you're in a situation where you're like, okay, I can't deal with this woman no more. She's toxic. I don't like the way she talks to me, whatever the situation might be. And you abandon your children with her to be raised by her. And then you condemn her for the way you raised them, but you abandoned them.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give you statistics that CDC did a study 2018, and it says black men are the most. 2019. I'm sorry. Thank you, Ashley. Black men are the most to interact with their kids, to change their diapers, to have everyday action with their kids. We are better than white men. We are better than Asian men in raising our kids. This narrative, if you get me, is old that you're giving me right now. Is old. It's old.
Okay. So then, if that's the case,
based on the numbers,
but that's all we can prove.
And that's what I'm saying.
If that's the case, then I'm sorry. If that's the case, then they are being raised by both parents, and now we still have the same problem.
No, we can't say that. Not with April. We can't say that. Come on.
Okay,
you have to understand.
We can't say that.
We only represent 15%.
But we're not looking at the 15%, Ash. We looking at the whole of the black community. We're not even talking.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. As a whole.
Okay.
We are only 15%?
Yeah, 14. Yeah, correct.
So when you say 80%, we rank 40% higher than Asian Latin men. I'm speaking about black men when it comes to them taking care of their children.
Correct.
They rank 40% higher. And these are the men that are in the household, that are with the mom,
out the household too. Now they just said they just say interact with their kids on the daily.
But they don't consider the black men that do take care of their children, and this is per the Census Bureau,
Mhm.
okay, that they don't count the black men that don't live in the house but are still active in their children's
Yeah,
lives.
some of yeah,
They don't show that part.
yeah.
That's the narrative that the world wants us to believe, that black men don't take care of their children. When I tell people all the time, you can argue with me all day, but you can't argue with numbers. Now,
Right.
we're only 15% of the population. So to rank 40% higher than whites, Asians, and Latinos when it comes to being in the household, taking care of your children, that speaks volume. That speaks volume when it comes to men.
So then my question would be, if you're there, like you say you are, like the numbers say you are, then how is it the woman's fault?
It's
Solely.
because it's the let me say this. It's the narrative that they want to portray, that men aren't black men aren't this, black men are only good for this, that, and the third, and we black women are just, that's the narrative. That's what they put out there for us to see.
Right.
That's
Okay,
what
we
we
jump,
go
we
with.
jumping, we going through all these points.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Everything I got. No, no, no. You good? No. So I'm just gonna put this up right quick because this is something I was gonna bring up. To conquer people, you must destroy the love they have for one another.
Now that right there, that right there is factual facts.
That
Can we get an amen? Let the
Right.
church say
so we're
amen.
gonna go back to the '60s once again.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying how you was giving me an analogy, right, about somebody leaving, the military leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under your analogy, I'm gonna tell you exactly what that looks like to a black
Okay.
man. Your analogy, the community. Who left
Mm-hmm.
the community back in the '60s?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Who left the community back in the '60s?
What do you mean? Like who left?
Which gender left the community back in the '60s?
The men.
No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
The women?
Feminist movement. Who did
Oh,
black
yeah.
women side with? Who did black women side with?
But then too, society pushed the black man out the household too.
But yeah, we're not even gonna talk about black. We're just talking about overall.
Black. So okay, so it's
The community. We're talking about the black
right.
community.
We talk about the black community.
What does it look like? I'm saying, and we're talking about optics right now. We're not talking about. We're talking about optics. We're talking about how does it look to the average person? Okay, even from white people look on the outside looking in, right? How does it look? Feminist movement. How does that look?
But I don't understand because
So
during the feminist movement, what happened was that Gloria Steinem, that's who, and Cosmopolitan, and these other white liberal, not liberal, but white feminist people came to black women and said, come join this movement. Now I'm going to tell you, black women were already a part of the movement, and y'all were already counted. 1964, there was a civil rights movement, and you can look this up. I don't want anybody to take my word. This is for the audience. I'm not talking about y'all, but I don't want anybody to take my word. Look this up. 1964, part of the civil rights movement. When they took that and they made that a law, black women were included. Women were included. I'm sorry, women were included. It was anybody that was minority. Women were included. The minorities were included. This was under Dr. King and all the work they did. When black women joined the feminist movement, it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. It was already that was already won. So that's why they could go ahead and say, okay, hey, think about this. Every race can attribute to what they do now to black folks, to what we did in the right movement, right?
Right.
And that goes for black women. That goes for black women. So based on I'm gonna use this analogy from the Bible, right? From the beginning of time, how have they got to a black man and destroyed a black man since the beginning of time?
Through his woman.
Through his black woman. Through his queen.
Through his woman.
Adam and Eve.
Right.
How did it get to Adam?
Through a woman.
Through the woman.
So once my take is there's nothing new under the sun. We just haven't learned. Well, we know the playbook. We forget it. We are some of the most forgetful people, and we're more forgiving people in this world.
Right.
White people for slavery, and we choose to side with them for certain agendas. I'm not going to say the agenda. I'm just going to say every agenda, every movement. We're up in arms. We join the movements when it doesn't serve the Black community any purpose.
because we want to feel included.
Because we want to feel included. Because when somebody deflects,
Mhm.
and this is, I notice a lot of times Black men kind of do the same thing. You know, during slavery, white people used to think that slaves were crazy for wanting to run away. Like it was actually a I forget what the name of the disorder was, but they actually had a name for it. Like you're a slave. You're supposed to be beneath me. This is your natural order. I feed you. I clothe you. Why wouldn't you be happy here? And I feel like, right. I feel like a lot of times Black men do some of that. It's like you should be happy here. You don't have any reason to be unhappy here.
Okay,
but
so
if I'm trying to run away from you, there was a breakdown somewhere because you don't run away from a good situation.
So I'm gonna agree and I'm gonna disagree.
Okay.
So the thing is, I'm gonna ask y'all two ladies this: are Black women happy today? Do you think overall Black women? And first of all, I'm gonna absolve y'all of speaking just for yourself. We're gonna speak in general because y'all hold the same biological traits as any other woman, right? We're talking down to the biology. We're talking down to emotions. There's only so many emotions. There's not billions of emotions, right? There's not billions of personality types. So I'm going to absolve y'all from speaking for yourself. We're going to speak as general for women because y'all share the commonality with all Black women. You know, some of the same situations, some of the same experiences. So do you think Black women overall are happy today?
I'm gonna say no because we're the most disrespected, the most underprotected people that walk this earth.
Okay.
Yet
We
we
are hitting all these points because God damn.
I,
Go ahead,
I
Travis.
mean, we
Yeah,
are.
I'm gonna ask yours. I'm gonna ask
We're
yours.
so highly disrespected. You'll get what I'm saying.
So
We're
Diane,
shamed,
you're Shane. Okay.
and I'm gonna look at Lil Kim.
Okay. Oh,
Lil
see,
Kim was shamed for the way she looked. So guess what?
okay. Look, Kim did that. Come on now. Let's stop that. No, come on. Stop. Okay. Back to your point, right? About Lil Kim, right? Who do you think men did that, or you think women are the biggest attackers of other women?
We do it.
Who is we?
Women.
Okay, so we're talking about we talk about Black people. Black people do it, but women are the biggest attackers of other Black women.
Of course.
So to get
Why do you think that is? Why do you think Black women attack each other so bad? Why do you think Black women are the biggest attackers of each other?
and I don't know so if you're trying to say it's because of men validation, women tell men all day long, and you're talking to a man, right? 7 years I worked in a woman's clothing store. I'm surrounded by nothing but women. I was the one that was getting sexually harassed. I was the one, like, you know, around nothing but women all day long for 7 whole years, right? And we talked about some of these topics. And the thing is that it wasn't for my validation because I tell women off top, right? Hey, sister, that don't look right. Come on, put something else on, put some your size, whatever. I used to tell women that they knew very well how I felt about certain things, right? And they still would like attack other women because women are territorial. Women or whatever. Now, it doesn't even have to be for male validation because even you got women say they don't need a man, they don't want a man or whatever. You got women saying that, and those women still will look at another woman and tear her down because she feels better about herself. It's just human nature to want to be above somebody else, right? Hierarchy is part of human nature. I don't think it has anything to do with like dynamics because men do that to other men. It's not for female validation because they'll do it amongst other men. Basketball court, football court, whatever. I mean, football field, whatever. They'll do it around other men, and women don't have nothing to do with that. I think is that women have, this innate thing in them and not women, people have this innate thing in them to compete with each other, right? It's just competition. We have to make ourselves feel better. We have to point out where we're different than other people. I'm better than you in this. Oh, look at her. Look at this. She look a mess. Because I'm put together. I look good in the club or whatever. It's just in us as people, and I don't think that's I don't think
That's
agree.
a mental issue. That's
Oh,
when you
or,
have to put down someone else to make yourself look good. That's
but
that's that's a mental
I don't
thing.
even think
That's
that.
something you
Think
need to
about the
go
society we live
address.
in. Actually, we live in a capitalistic society, right?
Oh yeah.
So, what drives us to do what we do every day? What drives us? Money. What drives women to do what they do? Attention. Money and attention. What drives men to do what they do? Money. I don't think it's so much attention, but it's money. It's want to be better than somebody, want to be looked at as something. Why do people go out and spend thousands of dollars on shoes, $1,000 on different stuff? Because they want to be looked
Respect,
at as
they
being
want
better.
respect.
Yes, respect. That's what men is. It's about respect. Thank you. You want to look at it as being better. So I don't think it's like a man versus woman thing with that. It's just it's just wanting to be better than somebody else or wanting to feel like we're better. They did this to white people, like the poor white people when we back there, right when we got let out of slavery. They gave the poor white people land so they could feel above the black poor people. And they told them, hey, we're giving you this, we're giving you subsidies, right? At least you're not black, right? We had to be lower class so these white people could feel better about themselves. So they keep us in our place. So I mean, I'm not saying it's right. It's nowhere near right? Because nothing is perfect, but
Mhm.
some things are some things are biological. Some things, we don't. Okay, put it this way: Black people, we do not understand psychology. We don't understand sociology of situations. You know, all these there's a psychology portion of it. There's a sociology portion of it. There's a natural. There's a unnatural order to things.
Right.
In our community, we have an unnatural order to us, and that's why we keep failing.
Yeah. I think a lot of the bickering that goes on between women
Mm.
is male approval based. And
So what about when men ain't in the room though?
even if it doesn't matter because it's already embedded in them, the misogyny is in them. It's already there. So it doesn't matter if it's not another man in the room.
Hmm.
I need to feel like I'm more desired than her. And the way for me to do that is to tear her down so that she doesn't feel like she's desired too.
Okay, so
Because we're in competition for the men, because without a man, I'm not valuable. I think when you look at a lot of, I would say, and I usually don't do these kind of high numbers, but I would say 90% of conflict women have with each other can be traced back to a man. Some kind of way it's going to come back and a man is going to pop up in there.
no, no,
I'm
sister,
gonna disagree
no,
with
sister,
that
no.
to an extent. I'm gonna disagree with that because a lot of that starts at home.
Mm-hmm.
Parents, see, a lot of people
That
are
too.
won't talk about that. Parents create competition in between siblings. So guess
Mm-hmm.
what? So when we go out into the world, we women, because we're the most cattiest people in the whole world. So because I was bullied, I'm gonna now become, I was the victim, so now I'm gonna become the bully. So I'm gonna tell you, Diana,
Mm-hmm.
um, girl, no, girl, that's ugly on you, girl. That would look better on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tear you down, and that starts at home. The competition does. There is competition when it does come for when they're seeking the male attention. I'm
So
not disagreeing with you on that.
hold on one second. So I wanted to ask about that bully aspect. Are you saying that the parents are bullying the children
Yeah,
and the
I'm,
mother
I'm,
is bullying her daughter?
I'm going to tell you
because
why.
and then the mother, because, and I think the reason that happens is because the mother, I cannot think, enmeshment. That's what it's called. That's the word.
And I'm gonna
Parents
tell you. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna tell you how what Ashley's talking about because we from New Orleans, right? New Orleans
Mm-hmm.
is a place where there was colorism heavy in New Orleans. So the parent did this. The lighter skinned girl, they used to treat they maybe the man did it, but I know for sure the woman used to treat the little light skinned girl better than she treated
better
the
than
dark.
the darker one.
And that's where it was ingrained in the female from watching the other female do them a certain way. This is parenting. This is from generations ago. This is generational curses that we have passed on. That's why I say when we talk about today, we can't blame a man. Like we can't say a man is missing and then blame the man too. We can't say the men were pushed out the household because everything can't start with the men when the men aren't even there. Like from the 60s, we had from the 1920s when we had Rosewood, we had Black Wall Street, right? We
Mm-hmm.
had 1920s to we had into 1960s. That's only 40 years. That's only 40 something years. So 40 something years, we had slavery before that. We had slavery, Jim Crow, all that stuff. That was ingrained in us through that. Now
Right.
we've been black men for 40 years, and since 1960s to now is how many years? It's 60 something years. How are we gonna keep blaming men for these 40 years? We can't do that. And this is what I try to fight, right? I mean, I'm not saying men don't share the blame for a lot of shit, right? They share
Mm-hmm.
a lot of shit, especially when they become adult, right? In those children years when they're young, we can't fault young men for being who young men are if they're allowed to be around their father. If they're allowed, if black women are backdooring their father, when the father says something, their mother goes like, "Well, don't listen to him. I'm telling you to do this." You know how black women do. I'm the mother. And that's why I say matriarch, right? The mother is the power in the house. You cannot tell a woman what to do with her children. You can't
But
do
see, here's the thing though, but you just said that black men are in the home and they are with their children. So, and that's where I'm saying is like if black men are in the home and they are with their children and they are spending more time with their children than any other man, then you cannot just blame the woman.
we're talking about
But it's
we're talking about I also mentioned backdooring, right? Because we know
Now,
nobody
yeah,
tell our
now,
children
yeah, now that does happen a lot. And black women,
yes.
and here's the thing where black women mess up. We are too hard on our daughters and too soft on our sons.
my sons.
Yes.
We coddle these boys and they go to other women and thinking that they're supposed to get that same coddling that they got from their mothers. And our daughters, we are so hard on them. The moment they snap their teeth, they 14 years old. The moment they start bucking a little bit, which is what you're supposed to do as a teen, you're supposed to buck. You're supposed to question. Now you're trying to come into your adulthood, so you're supposed to do this. And it's get out my house. So your 16-year-old daughter is out in the street, got to figure it out by herself. But your 37-year-old son is sleeping on the couch in your basement.
Okay, so and that's what we talking about when we talking about.
So yeah, I'm not saying black women just don't have no parts to play in this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
they always make it seem as if it's only the man and never the woman. And that's where we need to stop all of that. We need to start holding these black women accountable for the BS that goes on. But they don't do that because it does not fit the narrative. You get what I'm saying? Oh no, there's no such thing as deadbeat moms. It's always just deadbeat dads. No, you got moms that leave too.
And I don't, and it might just be the circles that I am in and the stuff I pay attention to. But I see black women being held to the fire all the time.
Now they are.
Now, yeah. Since the pandemic, that's when it started because we had to sit still.
I would say even prior to the pandemic, though.
But Diana, what you're saying in this new day and age, yes. Now they're starting to hold women accountable. But you go back to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, it was the dad. The dad. He was never this, he was never that. But people forget society pushed the dad out of the home too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because you couldn't get public assistance. Like if dad was the only one working, you couldn't get public assistance as long as the dad was in the house. So guess what?
Right.
You got to move the daddy out of the house. So now it created more single mothers. You get what I'm saying?
The government was the father, and it was. But I'm gonna tell you, let's get out the 60s, even the 90s, right? One woman tried to hold 89, 90. One woman tried to hold black women accountable, and they lambasted her. They demolished her. They killed her. Shahrazad Ali, right? She wrote a book, The Men's Guide to Understanding a Black Woman. They killed her. She was on all the shows. Donahue, Sully Jackson, Raphael, Geraldo. She was on all the shows. They just railed her across the coals, and now we're in this space past the pandemic. She's come back out, resurfaced, and she's been talking to people because said actually Donahue. She was speaking what she was speaking. Ileana Van Zandt was on that show and spoke against her. Now, Ileana Iyanla Vanzant. She's saying the same message this woman said in 89, 90. The same exact message that
Mhm.
black women are out of order. It's because we can't tell you anything. Black men can't tell you anything. Black women can't tell y'all anything. We're not talking about you, Diana. We're talking about as a whole,
No, yeah, absolutely.
as a collective. You know,
Mhm.
the initial statement you made was perfect, right? The black woman is supposed to be what for the community?
The
The
pillar.
moral
The
compass.
moral compass. The moral compass of a people, right, comes from their women. The moral
Mhm.
compass of a race comes from the women. This is why men are holding women to fire even more so. Because if y'all don't be held to fire, right, my kids, our kids are not going to learn the lessons they need to learn.
That's true.
Y'all are the first teachers. 0 through 7 is when the children learn everything they need to know for, well, the foundation they need to know for life, right? They can
Right.
learn other stuff, but their foundation is rocky, then your child is going to be messed up.
Mhm.
Child is going to be screwed up. I've witnessed so much of this in New Orleans. I've witnessed so much of this. I've heard so many women say certain things, right? That I'm like, yo, that ain't even good. I mean, that's what are you telling the child this for? You know, it's like it's crazy. And then a man can't tell him anything. Anybody tells him something, it's like, this is my child. This ain't my, you know, and blah blah blah. You know, the insults. You know, the barrage of you know, whatever.
But
Right.
that goes back to the conversation that we had when we talked about mothers telling these boys that they're the man of the house now.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
13, 14 years old. No, he's not the man. So when the mother does get into a relationship, the child doesn't respect the man because the mother has told him, you're the man of the house.
Right.
and what you just said goes back to what y'all was speaking. I don't want to get stuck on this because people are so arms with arms about this Russell Wilson future thing. That's what goes back to what you just said, right? Is the reason why guys are saying certain things about Russell Wilson. They look at him like a simp. I've had debates about this with close friends of mine, right? About
Right.
it's not the fact like y'all look at him a certain way, right? Y'all in a certain age range, right?
Mhm.
When y'all was in your 20s, y'all didn't want a Russell Wilson. Come on now, be real. Be real.
I did.
I
In your
did. I
teens,
liked
in your teens. Did you want
in my teens. I liked my ex-husband was a Yu-Gi-Oh card playing,
okay? You're outside the norm then.
white jean wearing,
Mhm.
skateboard riding.
Okay.
Like in the idea that Black women are so monolithic. No, we don't all just like thug life.
It's
We
not,
don't.
but it's not a monolith. It's not a monolith. When you got, think about this. When you got 80, and I'm just saying 80, let's say 75%. When you got 75% of women going for the bad boys, when you look at a lot of these women, right? And I can't call the numbers off the top of my head, but
Mhm.
the amount of children being born to Black women, it's only a small percentage of these men that are having these kids. I can't remember, it's 20-30% of men are having these kids with
It
the
was
majority
27%.
27%. Okay, with majority is women. So we cannot look at the Black men if it's only 27% is causing these kids.
That
Tennessee,
statistic
right?
is
Between two
skewed.
dudes, no, it's not. Between two dudes in Tennessee, they got 80 kids. There's two dudes in Tennessee that got 80 kids amongst the two.
And that is an anomaly.
No.
Most men don't have 40 kids each. That's an anomaly. The statistic, I say that the statistic is skewed because once you get to about 40 years old, men and women have the same amount of children. About. So all the statistic is saying is that
I'm not saying that women and men have. I'm not saying they don't have. No, because you have a group of men. We can't say that because if you say there's a group of men, 30% of men are childless. 30% of men are childless, right?
At what age range though?
And men mature.
Oh yeah, we talking about 16, 17, all the way up to 40s. We're talking about.
And that's what I'm saying. Once you get to a certain, and I forget the number, but once you get to a certain age, the number of the statistic of men that have children jumps from that 30% whatever to like 80, and it comes on par with women. So all it's saying is that men are having children later in life. Which makes sense because women can't have children. You know, it's not that they can't have children. The older you get, the more difficult it is to conceive.
Exactly. So women have the biological clock. That's true. The men, this is the reason why the men do it. The men don't hit their stride, their financial stride, till their 40s, to around 40s. So
Mm-hmm.
Mid
they got,
30s,
we say it again.
mid 30s. I would say mid 30s.
Mid 30s. Yeah,
Well,
they
let's say,
hit their 30s after
let's say,
college, after
yeah,
their college years.
but financially, like you have to build that up. So I mean, they might start making money, whatever, but it takes a while to build up to your top. I'm talking about your peak. When you get at your
Mhm.
peak, it's right around the 40s. Let's say mid 30s. Let's say 37, 30. Whatever.
Okay.
We're not gonna split hairs. But so that's the reason what you're talking about, right? But about time this man gets to a woman, and this is where the single mother thing and the whole thing about single mothers. About time the woman gets to the man, she done had kids by other men. So this dude that don't have no kids at 30 something, 37, 38, right, is looking back like, nah, I don't want that. And that's why they looking back at Russell Wilson. I say we ain't gonna sit on this, right? That's why looking back at what Russell Wilson like a simp, because you're gonna come to me with some dude that's lesser than me. Future, come on, our Future had 7 baby mamas. Future has 7 baby mamas, right? Seven
Mhm.
baby mamas. So you're gonna tell me Future stock ain't in the trash?
Right.
Why am I gonna step a dude? I mean, a woman that's been with a dude that had 7 baby mamas. She didn't value her own worth in that aspect, right? And I don't know what birth and order her child ranks. I'm not sure. I
He's
don't follow
number
stars like that.
number 5, I
Okay,
believe.
okay, so they had 4 other women before her, right? So
Mhm.
me as a man that's built myself up over time to get to whatever place I am, right? I'm not going to try to be willing. I'm not going to be going back to a system like, oh yes, this, you made a mistake, but come on now, let me take care of you, your kids. I'm not saying this. I'm not talking about Russell Wilson. I'm talking about men
In
that
general.
deal with the image of this, right? Because
Mhm.
what happens in their teens, what happens in their 20s, they were passed over. Majority of men that has this vitriol for women that do this is because they felt they were passed over in their younger years when they were just trying to figure out. And black women went to the bad boy or the man that had the cars, the money, whatever. And they weren't good enough. So now they're at that position. Think about when you go back to your class reunion, right? Think about that. Think about the dudes that's sitting there and they looking back at the women like, damn, she used to be fine, right? She used to be she used to be the one. Oh, I used to have a crush on her. Now you look at her, I don't think so. I'm gonna, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. That's how they look at that situation. Not the we're not talking about Russell Wilson as a person, because I think he's an awesome guy. Personally, I think
Mhm.
you haven't had any scandals. He was married to a white woman, but well, that's neither here nor there. But you haven't had any
No,
like
they were never married. Him and the white lady were never married. They dated. They
they
weren't
weren't
dating.
married.
They were
Okay,
never
well,
married.
okay, okay. Well, you telling me something? I don't, like I said, I don't follow stars like
Youre
that.
is his first wife, his first
Okay,
beautiful wife.
okay. So
Mhm.
he had a white woman that he dealt with, whatever, and whatever happened. But that's neither here nor there. As a man, I think I think we should model boys after him, as not the we're taking that away from the Sierra situation, right? Because I feel a certain way about that. But as a man, as somebody as high moral character, right? We should try to say, okay, this is a man of high moral character. We should speak on his character. Stop.
Yeah.
That's
This is
it.
who we should. This is who we
Now
should model after.
action, and these
You
what the
want
men are talking.
stability.
The action that he did was what the men are focusing on, not the character of the man. Hey, shining example,
Mhm.
simple man. I applaud him, being the man he is. Even they don't even talk about the fact that Sierra had to do something in order to get with him, right? Nobody talks about that. They talk about the Sierra prayer, but she had to not have sex for a year, right? I don't know if she did it. I don't know, but anyway,
She did. She went on a. What happened was after her and Future. Okay, so and this is no shade to Sierra because I love her so much. She didn't get with Russell for money because Sierra was a millionaire before she got
no,
with
no.
Russell.
Let's stop the money because the money's foolishness. Let's
Right.
don't go
So
on
when
a
she
tangent
so
off.
when
Yeah.
she realized after she had her son, she went on a spiritual journey.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
she determined in her spiritual realm that she created, I need someone that's stable.
Hmm.
I'm growing up. My mindset is changing. I'm growing and he's standing still. So now Future went from being an asset to now he's a liability. You get what I'm saying? So Sierra prayed. I need to go on, I need to really get in touch with myself. What do I want for me and my son? Because it's no longer about me. I need someone that's stable. I need someone that's this. I need someone that's that. She set boundaries. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
And ain't nothing wrong with upgrading.
so, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But the thing is, for you to expect a man that doesn't owe you anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are men. These are men I'm talking about that have issue with or have been saying stuff about this Russell Wilson thing. Like I said, I'm gonna give Diana a chance to speak on this after I say what I gotta say, and we're gonna move on because I don't like talking about stars and stuff. I like use
Real life, right? Real life
we can
people.
use them
Right.
for an archetype to talk about to speak.
This rich folks
Rich folk
problem.
problem, yeah,
Okay.
Right,
yeah. We don't
I
have,
ain't got that problem because I ain't rich. Here.
right.
but,
These millionaire problems.
but this is for men that are looking at women. Like I said, we just talked about the fact that women hit their, earlier, they have biological clock, so they're trying to, hey, let's get it. I need to have these kids. If I'm gonna have kids, I need to have kids because 35 or whatever is the time where I can't remember what's the term. The
High risk.
high risk pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
35 and on is high risk pregnancy. At about you only have about 10 years 35 to 42, 43, whatever. You have those many years to even
Yeah,
try to do it.
and with medicine now, women are having healthy babies a lot later in life. But real
But it's a
talk,
risk on their life. But it's a risk
yeah,
on their life.
I done
So
had 2 babies, and I don't want to be 40 something pregnant. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to do it.
so it's a risk on your life. So we're just talking about that shorter time frame, right? So
Mm-hmm.
why women, this is for the men, right? This is why women do this up front and then come and whatever. But should men accept the fact that you've been over here with this dude that ain't me? That ain't me, right? They ain't did half the shit I did, ain't been through half the shit I did to get myself to this position. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think is it fair? Answer me this. Is it fair for men to be asked to do that?
But is it
To
fair for us
sacrifice
to
themselves?
accept you after you have had?
No, we're not
Most
talking about them. We're
women.
not talking about them dudes. We're not talking about them dudes, right? Them dudes, okay, yes. This is what I believe. Okay, I'm gonna say this. If that woman has a kid and this man has a kid, hey, y'all go with God. Y'all go with God and whatever. We're not talking about them dudes. We're talking about the dudes that don't have any kids and was disciplined in themselves, right, to make themselves to a certain position.
Okay.
Why you over there? Because I ain't over there like she's stirring. Like, what you over there feeling, sister? Come on.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Hmm?
First of all, let's not take away from the fact that a lot of men don't have children, but not because they've been so careful, right?
Okay.
Not because they wrapped it up every time.
Explain that. What do you
Not because they've been using safe sex. Not because they've been selective about the women that they have sex with.
Okay.
It just might have not happened. A woman is only fertile so many days to where she can get pregnant, right? So you got that to look at. So it wasn't like you was monitoring her ovulation. You don't even know her last name.
No.
So you wasn't monitoring her calendar. Women can go have an abortion. So you can say, I don't have any kids because she wouldn't have this abortion. So let's not act like, men have just been the, standard of responsibility.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Okay, let's put it this way. If this man come to you and he got $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
He rich.
Mm-hmm.
Ask this man where he got his money. Are you gonna care really where this man got his money from as long as it's legal?
Yeah, no, as long as it's legal. What do you say? All money is legal. No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So this is the thing you're saying, right? As long as this man don't have any kids, that's the overall whatever.
Right. Okay, but because I say that because men are acting like they have just been so responsible in doing what they're doing, and that's a skewed story. It's not because you've been so responsible, you've been so lucky, and that's cool because at the end of the day, you don't have any children, and that's that. Now, should there be? Is it fair for them to have to go to a single mother? And this is not about being fair.
No, it is. It is to them, to the man,
to the man. Okay, so to the man, when you're talking about your standards and your preference, that's set to you. It don't have to be fair. Right. It don't have to make sense. Okay. Don't nobody have to rock with it except for the person you're trying to rock with. So if you are a man with no children and you got $1 million in the bank and you don't want to be with a single mother, guess what? You don't have to be one. You don't have to be with one.
1 second. So you have any daughters?
I have 2 daughters.
You have 2 daughters. And Ashley, I know you have daughters. Will anyone you tell your daughters that this is the model for getting married? This is the model for moving on, to have children first and then become a single mother and then do what Sierra did? Are you gonna tell them that's the model to follow?
Absolutely not.
No,
They were successful.
no.
So this is what we're speaking on, right?
But what I'm going to tell them is, if this happens, because the longer you live, the more stuff happens. If this happens, doesn't make you any less valuable. It doesn't mean that you're not a good woman. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy of love. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy of respect. It's life. When you're trying to date somebody that is 35 and expecting them not to have no kind of past history, and guess what? When I start talking to you and you're 35, 37, and you haven't had a divorce and you haven't had any children, like, I'm expecting those kind of things coming in, because you lived on this earth 40 years, you've got some stuff going on. Now, if you don't, great. That's awesome. But I'm not going to hold you to a standard that I can't hold myself to.
So you made 2 comments, right? The
Mhm.
first about our children, about your children, right? And this is the thing. You have absolved your child from making stupid mistakes that you can teach, you can keep them from making. When you said, well, it don't mean that you're going to do this. You know, you have, the thing is, back in the day, we used to have standards. We strict orders, right? Do not be a single mother. Do not have sex out of wedlock. Do not do this. Do not do that, right?
Right.
We had that.
Right.
What did our community look like back then? Was it stronger than it is now?
We had because 2-parent households were normalized then.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's what it created. 2-parent households.
Right. With a lot of unseen and hidden abuse, to the point where those children grew up and became this.
But no. Hold on.
Because we did say, and when I say this to people get upset. People were like, oh, I want to be like my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want that long-term love.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know what your grandmother went through? Your grandfather had a whole nother family that lived right across the street from you.
And a lot of them did. So this is the thing, right? The psychology, well, once again, psychology, whatever, sociology of it. So this, we were giving what the grandfather did. We were giving that because he had to be the buck on the farm, on the plantation. He had to be the buck. He had to go from family. That was passed down. Like, this is, you have inputted this into somebody. Hold on, where is that? Hold on a second. Right. When I tell you I have so much stuff pulled up here, and it's like, one of those things. Okay, right here. So this is the thing. We have in us, right, biological norms.
Right.
Biological norms. Okay, so anything negative is against biological norms, right? Anything positive is within the biological norms, right? For African American people, we came from Africa. Our biological norm was not monogamy. It wasn't. Right. This is the baseline foundation we need to really, start speaking on. It was not the norm. So when you talk about men having kids around or whatever, they're going more within their biological norms, whatever that they originally came from, and then that the white man helped do. The white man wasn't like, we had to sneak and get married, right? That's where the broom comes from. So monogamy, we were trying to be more like white people when we did that.
Right.
Against our biological norm. So the thing is that, is it a problem? Is it a problem that we had family around the corner because we were doing something that was within our norm, and also that we're given as a culture to our people, along with the Bible, and people don't even say this either. Monogamy was not in the, where it was in certain parts, but polygamy was in the Bible.
Right.
It was in the Bible. 100 wives was in the Bible.
Right.
Let's not stop acting. Let's act like it was there. It was in the Bible. We are so much. They have given us so much religion, right? And we cherry pick that shit. We want to.
Yeah.
What
we call natural is actually conditioning.
It's conditioning.
Yeah. So on that same tip, it was understandable for granddaddy to have family across town and around here, because it's understood that that's what men do. But the same grace wasn't given to women. It wasn't understood that women are sexual too, and women are not monogamous either.
Right.
And that's where the unbalance is, because while men are more promiscuous than women, it doesn't mean that women aren't. It just means that men go more for quantity and women look more for quality. So while you might have 20 women, she might have 4 men. And because she's looking for the best candidate to have children with. Okay. But we didn't have that same grace. And I think and I don't know if this might
No,
be.
no, no. They had women that did that, right? They had women that did that, but what did the community call them?
But what she was saying is men got the men. It was almost like men got a pass for it.
Right. Women are whores
Okay.
when they
We're
do that.
sluts.
We're sluts. We're
tramps.
we're not, it's not acceptable. And honestly,
So it's
just,
not. It
maybe
goes,
just in the last 10 years,
Mm.
this new generation of women that's coming up, this 20 up and stuff, this is the
what they
first,
call them, Gen Z.
yeah, this is the first generation of women that really have full freedom to do what they want.
Sexual liberation.
Sexual liberation. They're
Do you
finally
think
making
that's good or bad?
But
Do you
then
think
too, but you know what?
do you think that's good or bad though?
I
But you
think,
know, Diana, let's go back to Madonna, because Madonna was very sexually liberated.
uh-huh.
Sexual liberation happened right after the feminist movement. It happened
But
during
you
the late
but
60s.
you think
early 70s.
about you had your outliers, the certain women that were, given a pass for whatever reason. Marilyn Monroe, she was sexual,
Right.
but you knew you couldn't do that. Blonde hair, blue eye can do it. I
I
can't
was
do
just about
that.
to say, black women, we couldn't do
I
that.
couldn't do that.
Okay,
And then you
so
have
did
your
that help us or hurt us? Because we need to get down to the
oh well, will it
But
help us or
you
hurt
know
us?
what?
I
But you
think
know what, Diana? Let's
Mhm.
go and let's talk about Josephine Baker.
Right.
Yep,
But she
yep.
had to go all the way over to France again.
Right.
So
Because
because it wasn't acceptable here. But to Will's question, will this help us or hurt us? I think in the beginning it's going to cause more harm than good, but I think it would balance out.
Did it help us? Because we're 50 years into this, right? We're 50 years into that sexual liberation movement because it happened back in the 70s.
Right, but it wasn't on the scale that it is now. It takes time. It takes time to undo the brainwashing.
Okay, you think 50 years? Nah, I'm no.
It's got to no, because it's got to go generation through generation through generation. We still, in my 30s, I still have things that are, kind of stuck in from what my grandmother taught me and my mother taught. It takes generations to break that. So that's why I was saying I think this generation of women are probably the first one who has full control to where they don't need a man. And when I say need, don't mess me up. Don't twist my words. I mean need as far as for your physical. Actual needs: food, shelter, clothing. Up until the 70s, a woman could even get credit or a mortgage for herself. So after the 70s was when women actually
we're talking about sexual liberation. So we're talking about autonomy.
But it all times it ties in together.
No, okay.
And
so there's a difference. I'm gonna tell you why there's a difference. Sexually, right? That goes to the morals. We're talking about the morals right now. We're not talking about the autonomy, the morals. We're talking the morals of women sleeping around, the morals of, and this is why it happened in the 70s, right? They created the birth control pill in the 70s, so it made it okay. They had full control when they did the birth control pill that I don't have to have any kids. I don't have to have any kids if I don't want to. So that's why the sexual liberation happened. We're talking
but that's when it started. But you still have to get the brain, the idea, the conditioning out of your head. Like
it has to be undone.
It has to be like so. Yeah, even though
reprogram maybe
right. Like I could tell you now, like when in the 90s and the early 2000s, when we had the Foxy Browns and the Little Kims and stuff, we were kind of getting out there, but we still had the understanding that, oh, you better not sleep around because you're going to be a slut, and if you do this, nobody's going to want you, and do that. This is the first generation that's like, I don't care if you call me a slut.
We got the Cardi B.
I'm sorry.
Your volume was low for some reason. I was telling you.
We got the Sukianas and all of that.
Right.
But I think that is going to or a bad thing.
I think right now it's going to cause a lot of harm because women are still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to figure it out. Think about this. When you have a very strict.
I'm not on protection. I have a child. Men, if you go in somebody raw, if you don't have a vasectomy, you have a child.
Right. But you're still trying, because when you think about a strict parent, right?
Mhm.
That didn't let their kid do anything growing up. They couldn't hang out with their friends. They couldn't make any mistakes. They go off to college. They act buck wild. That's where we're at right now.
That first year.
No, okay, what you just said, right? You once again, it's biologically right. It's only one way you can have a child.
Right.
Sex, ejaculation, child. All this other stuff you're talking about, like we can have to stop making these big ass gray areas. You can have sex. Yes, I'm not saying don't have sex. I'm not saying that. I'm not telling
Right.
you to not have sex. What I'm saying is that your body, your choice, right? You can't
Right.
say you can't tell your daughter your body, your choice, right? Nobody can rape you, and at the same breath go the other way and say, well, he had a baby, he got you pregnant. It's his fault, right? Your body, your choice.
And I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with what you're saying.
Hmm?
I don't think, from what I see, I don't think women are saying it's the man's fault that I got pregnant. I'm hearing, I got pregnant. I knew what I was doing, but you knew what you were doing too. And you need to take responsibility for what you're doing, what you did, same way I have to take responsibility for what I did. That's what I'm getting. But I'm getting men saying, no, because this was your body and you let me. Well, as if, so what
you didn't want, now here comes the blame game.
Right. Instead of
you know y'all got the law on your hand, right? So it don't matter what the man say. You know you got
instead of me being responsible for my egg and you being responsible for your sperm, I have to be responsible for your sperm and my egg. And that's where I think the disconnect is.
Well, so first of all, let's talk about rights, right? We're gonna get about rights for a second. Men have no rights outside of having sex with you the first time. Parental rights, well, they have rights, but they have to go fight for their rights. Put it this way. Naturally, men have no rights outside of impregnating you the first time. What I'm saying is that we have to, my nieces, whatever, we have to tell our daughters, no, yeah, if you screw up, you're not good. No, don't screw up. Don't screw up. Make this boy put a condom on. I don't care how, whatever. Make this boy put a condom on. You protect it, whatever. Not only for kids, STDs. Come on now. We have to stop making this such a large gray area and be like, hey, your body, your choice means you have to make this boy put a damn condom on. If he's not being responsible, you be the morally whatever compass, you be the moral compass, being the woman, the black woman, and you make this boy do what's right, or you don't give him it all. She has all the power. If he takes that power from her, guess what happens? He goes to jail. The law is on the woman's side. So that's why I was telling you no when you were saying what you were saying about telling your daughter, right? Because she has all the power in that situation.
Right. But she doesn't have all the power in the situation.
Why not?
I'll tell you why. Because he can say, I'm not going to have sex with you if I'm not wearing a condom.
Right.
Okay. And what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing.
What is wrong with that?
It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I'm saying is the conversation is so much on women, you need to do this, women, you need to do that, women, you need to do this. And the men think that they are absolved of any responsibility because nobody is telling him
Everybody's telling them that.
No.
The law is telling them that. The law is telling them that. We can't say nobody's telling them that when the law is telling them that.
The law is telling them what? The law is not telling them that
you are responsible.
The law is not telling him that you got to put on a condom and that you can't put on the condom and that you can pull out and that you can get a vasectomy. The law is not telling them that.
I'm saying you saying nobody's telling the boy
at all. Period.
You said nobody's giving the boy, making him responsible. That's what we're talking about. The woman, men are putting all responsibility on women, right? That's what we're talking about, and nobody's telling the boy this.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. I said the law is telling the boys this. Legally, he cannot take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he cannot give that woman a child if she goes and files a child support order. They're going to make her responsible,
right?
We have a system in place that goes with the woman, that sides with the woman. So I'm just saying, yeah, they could say that all day long. What I'm saying is the law backs the woman in holding this man responsible. Either way. Yeah,
but those laws in this day and age, those laws are changing, and now they are allowing these fathers to go after these women now. These laws are now starting to hold these women accountable. If these men are paying child support and you're withholding a child, guess what? You're
You
going to
about to
jail.
be in contempt. You're going to jail.
You're going to jail.
But
So they're holding these
that's
women
it leveling
accountable.
itself out though. It's leveling itself out, and that
Right.
should have been happening, because what happens is that now you have, once you have laws on women, and this is what we've been talking about, right? Women having free reign, right? Now you have a ceiling on women as far as having being able to be held accountable, fully accountable. Now we're gonna see we still have women that are gonna have kids just to have the child support. These women,
Right. And you have those. And what's not being told to men, I think what men are not getting enough is of this kind of conversation. You know, once she has, you're not married to her. You know, once she has the baby, if she gets pregnant, that you're not going to be able to tell her if she can have an abortion or not. You know this prior to having sex with her. You know, if she does have the baby, she can put you on child support. You know that you're going to have to go to the court and petition the court to have any rights to your child. You know you don't want to be a father. You know you don't know this one. Why are you giving her so much power to control your life when you could put on a condom? When you can get a vasectomy? And I think that's the part of the conversation that's not getting enough focus. What's getting the focus is, well, you knew he didn't want to have a baby, and you know that was your body, and which is all true. All of this is true. But at the end of the day, when you got men talking about child support this and family court is unfair and da 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 da, it's kind of the same thing when you're talking about with like drugs and criminal activity with black men, and we get thrown the book and they treat it, but you're selling crack. Don't sell crack, and you don't even have to deal with that court system. So it's kind of the same thing. Don't shoot up the club. No, you don't want any children, and you don't even have to worry about.
So think about this, Ashley. I'm gonna ask you this: do you think what she just said? Do you think black men don't express that to other young black men about the things I have to go through in the court system? They hear that from black men. This is what I was trying to tell you. They
absolutely do. I've sat in spaces and I've had this very same conversation with other black men when they, in regards to having babies. Don't do this. These are going to be the consequences. You, like you said, you don't know this woman. Put a condom on. Stop thinking with your other head and think with the head up here.
Right.
A lot of men don't do
that. I'm going to tell you why. Right. The consequences for men and the consequences for women, two different things. Right. Right. Can we agree?
Men can walk away.
No. But I'm just saying the consequences. Yeah, they can walk away, but I'm saying the consequence, financially consequence, because men, right? We care about our money. We care about our money. Women's supposed to care about their body more than their money.
Right? That's one thing I tell men: protect your sperm like you protect your money.
Yeah, and that's true. But I'm gonna tell you why it don't happen, right? Because we have been conditioned to believe we're the same, and this is the problem. This is the problem because a woman is not going to relay that to her son. She's not going to relay that message to her son. What you just said, Diana, she's not going to relay that message to her son. So if she doesn't have that man around for whatever reason, whether she got rid of him or he not there, whatever, she's not going to tell that boy this information. So under an 80% single mother parent rate, if they don't, whatever, like I said, whatever reason, we've went back and forth with the reason why it happened and all that stuff. But I'm just saying she's not going to relay that to her son because that is not her. That's not her reality. Her reality is that the woman is going to take care of it. And I've heard other women tell this to young ladies too. The baby's going to be on you. If that happens, the baby's going to be on you, whatever. So this boy knows the baby's going to be on the girl. If he has a sister, he's heard that from his mom, and she hasn't had that talk with the boy about, hey, but they can get your money. They can control your life. Your life is no longer yours. You're a slave to the mother, and whatever she wants to do with your child, once you have if you hadn't vetted her properly, you become a slave to whatever the court system says, whatever this woman says. Your life can become a living hell.
Right.
I'm gonna disagree to an extent because there are mothers that do tell their sons, you need to be mindful with who you lay down with and have babies with.
Yeah, because it'll be a mother. It'll be a mother that's blocking her son from taking the responsibility of his children.
Exactly. You have some women that go along with the boy because they coddle their young men.
And those are the ones
That's my baby.
and those are the mamas that are trying to make up for the daddy or not having a positive role model in the sons.
Right. But so Will, my question
that keep them on their titties that want to treat their sons like their husbands.
Right. That
So,
what do you
but
call
you
it?
do have those mamas that say, I don't think that's the one you want to have no baby with.
Parental incest.
Yeah,
Parental incest.
Yeah.
But my question to you then, Will, is when you gave me the stat about how many black men are in the home raising their son, or having hands on with their son.
Yeah.
You both agreed on that. So why aren't these dads telling their sons this if they're there? They're there.
So the thing is that yes, they're some dads are. We're gonna say that. But what mother says carries more weight with the boys. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. What the men say to their daughters carry more weight with the daughters. What the boys hear from the mothers carry more weight with the mothers. That's just the way it is. And I don't know why it's that way. It's something. I mean, it's just something that happens. That's why when a daddy says something to a girl, she like feels, whatever, because daddy said that. Between the two women, it's like, yeah, she's a woman too, whatever. That's my mom, whatever, but she still loves. She's gonna give that nurturing. But the dad, is like, okay.
She's devastated if dad is like
devastated. There you go.
Yeah, you don't want to disappoint. I am the president of the Daddy's Girls Club.
Okay. So you understand.
And you do not want to disappoint your daddy. But when it's my mom that tells me the woman stuff, like the real woman. I remember I was about 17 years old and I was acting a little fast. And she sat me down. I missed curfew. I stayed out all night, came home. She sat me down and she was like, she told me, she said, your daddy thought you was dead. You broke your daddy's heart. So right there, okay, so I'm done. Right there, I'm just through because I'm like, Lord.
But it had to do with your daddy, though. It wasn't your mama. It had to do with you.
But let me tell you. So she goes on and
mom
says
was the messenger because dad wasn't gonna tell you. So your mom can't. Mom was always the bearer of bad news.
And she goes on to tell me this. She says, there is only one queen in this house. And if you can't follow the rules, you need to go get your own kingdom. And that stuck with me. That was my mom telling me. My dad didn't tell me that. That was my mom telling me some real woman stuff.
But you know what? That's the only message. That's really one of the only messages that is very ingrained in stone with black women and their daughters. That's really the only message that's really ingrained is that, hey, I'm the woman in the house. And if you want to do otherwise, like you said before, the boys, they get away with murder.
Right.
But for the girl, that's the only real message because, hey, only one vagina is going to run this house.
Well, and I don't think so. I think because I was raised by both of my parents, I got,
I'm talking about single parent. I'm talking about single parent.
And that's another thing I don't have. I don't have that single parent perspective. Well, I am a single parent, but I wasn't raised by single parents. And actually most of my community, like my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, they were all married. So I've been raised up under marriage.
Oh, you've been in the community. Okay.
Right. I've been in the community. So I got a lot of the, like my mom would tell me when a man wants you, he'll come and get you. Stuff like that. So there are things that my mom told me about womanhood that my father could not tell me. Because I'm his princess and, it's just certain stuff that he just can't tell me that will stick with my mom says. So, yeah, you're right. It's some things that you're going to accept more coming from that masculine energy. And it's some stuff you're going to take from that feminine energy. So my thing is, again, when men need to talk to men about men things. I can't tell a son how to experience the world from a male point of view because I don't experience the world like that. So yeah, I can tell you, wrap it up and if this happens, da 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 da. But it's gonna hit harder from you because because you dealt with it, you lived a life. You dealt with it. You hit harder. You can look at the little I can come up and I can tell you the game of how women play and stuff, but you think I'm just bullshitting because I'm mom or because I'm a girl. But
So this,
you can tell them, you got life experiences. You can tell them like, yeah, this one time I was with this chick and blah 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 blah, and you can hit it home with examples and stuff. I don't sleep with women, so I don't have that example to give.
but my thing is the back door, and this is where the back door comes in.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
I can tell a man all day long, whatever it is, a young man, whatever it is, and mama go back and tell him, "You my baby, ain't going to, ain't gonna do this to you, ain't gonna do," and she gives him that false protection of my, I can be absolved of my actions. I just had to go to mom.
Yeah,
mama, and she gonna make everything okay.
Yeah.
So I think
that is a problem that I don't have nothing to say, because I would say that was my number one issue with Black women and their sons, and of course not all, so don't come from me. A lot of
no,
it's
no,
a
no.
lot
I
of
mean,
women that
we talk
balance.
about it, talk about it, and that's all.
Yeah, it's a lot of women that even if they don't have the father around, they have good male positive influences in there, and they let the men handle the boys when they. I saw something in a comment section once, and the man said, when the men can no longer correct the boys, we've hit rock bottom. And that was so true. And as a woman, as a mother, your heartstrings tug when you see your baby crying or see your baby in distress, and you want to be like, I'm going to save you, because women are protectors too.
No, you're emotional protectors, but the thing is,
but we're protectors, we're protectors and providers. Our bodies are designed to protect and provide.
Okay, but there's a difference between emotional. You see, because y'all gonna hit that emotional first, and that's the reason I got this number line up, because it hits, this number line hits everything we talk about in our community. Everything. Think about 0 as being a centralized point of you being a woman, right? You're familiar. You're in a 0 number line. So 0, you're in tune with yourself, right? When you have a bad situation, right, where you have to get masked and you have to protect yourself, you'll go over to the 2. You add 2 or 3, right? Because you have to protect yourself. But when you reset and you're out of that situation, you go back to 0, right? We talking about, reason I said 2, right? Because that's aggressive. Plus is aggressive. Negative is regressive. That's why I say 2. I'm just letting everybody know, in the audience, why I said that. So if you go to 2, 3, whatever, you're going to course correct back to 0 when you're in your natural resting space, 0. So the issue we have, and this goes to what y'all was saying about men telling y'all about being masculine and overly masculine. Women today, because of everything we've conditioned, back in slavery, women had to be above the boys, above the men, because they fear for the men to die if they weren't, they were too overly masculine and everything else. They ran the community in, and after the 60s with the feminist movement, we're strong Black women, independent women. That mantra, right, puts women in their masculine, that they don't need a man. So that puts them in like a positive 4, positive 5, right? So when men come to you, right, they want a woman that's at 0 femininity, right, in her natural femininity. If he come to you and you're at 4 or 5, right, we have to do extra shit to get to you 0, which is wine and dine you, which is do all this extra shit that other people from other races don't have to do, right? Is that a maybe?
I'm going to say that. Well,
we're talking about observable reality now,
right? Because here's my thing. First of all, I don't really buy into the femininity, masculinity as far as roles. I believe there's
Black women are more masculine than any other race.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
absolutely not.
Based on how you were conditioned, right? There's a strong thing for a reason, right? So, Ashley, what you got to say? Because you over there with your face. Go ahead. You might something wrong with something. I can't hear you. Nah, you should be good now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. We've been forced to be that way.
Okay, and I agree, right? I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying Black women. I'm not saying your fault. What I'm saying is conditioning. Based on conditioning, right? Black women have to be more masculine, have more of that attitude, more of that bravado, right, than other races of women. We're not placing blame now. We're just saying observe reality. Do you think Black women are more masculine, more alpha? That's why you say masculine, because you don't like the term masculine, right? More alpha than other women.
Yeah, because I feel like
yes, we are. But
go ahead, Ashley. No, go ahead.
because that starts from the grandmother, your mama, your grandmother, your aunties, and they, they mamas, because we were conditioned and taught you don't depend on no man. You need to know how to stand on your own 2 feet. So when we get into these relationships, it's hard for us to be feminine.
More agreeable, more
Right.
feminine. Yeah.
Because we've been taught our whole entire lives, you don't depend on no man, because what you gonna do when that man leave? You need to be able to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
So Diana, go ahead. Speak to that.
I do get that. I do get that. Hear that rhetoric. And again, I was raised
not about rhetoric. I mean, what you see outside of your family, right?
Okay, so yeah, outside
It's
of
a
my
family.
family,
It's a family aspect that you grew up
I
in.
feel like, but
Outside of
see,
that.
and again, I'm saying like that's kind of stuff is not necessarily to me. That's not alpha or masculine. That's human. That's human
No, it's not.
to me.
When you put, I'm going to tell you, when you put black people, and this is what I asked, I'm being specific, right? When you put black people, black woman with a white woman, with an Asian woman, with an Indian woman, with races of women, right? When you think of an alpha woman, which race do you think of?
If yeah, okay. So based off of
Come on now.
I'm gonna answer it, but again, like I don't view
No, it's not. No, not about that. No, which race?
It is about this. So let me tell you, I don't view masculinity and femininity the way that in alpha and all of that stuff. I don't view it the way that society views it, but I can see how society views it. So because of that,
because I think you do. I'm going to tell you why. Do you want a beta man protecting you if y'all in trouble?
I don't believe in that, but beta like that stuff is more animal.
Do you want a less than masculine man protecting you if y'all in trouble? If somebody comes to you to whip your fucking ass, excuse my French, do you want a man that is not masculine to be right around you?
In other words, do you want a Steve Urkel or a Stefan?
I want whoever got the trigger finger.
No, see you're
that's
trying.
Like I don't like again. You're trying, and like that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't see the stuff like you're like the way you're presenting. I
gave you a specific thing.
A specific thing.
Your life is in danger. Your life is in
danger. My life is in danger. I want whoever is going to be the most
you don't know
able
this. You don't know this. You don't know this. All you know, you have two guys right next to you. You have two guys, two choices. Only two choices.
Right.
You got a dude that is bony and don't look like he can protect himself. You got a dude that's 6 foot something, that's built abs and look like he'll break a nigga jaw. Which one are you gonna pick?
The stronger of the two, the one that looks stronger.
So the alpha. What he's asking, when you alpha in regards to women,
right?
What race?
What race do you see?
So if that's the case, then yeah, black women.
Black women are the most aggressive.
But here's what I'm saying though: when you talk about the dude that has the scrawny muscles and he wears the Steve Urkel, he wears glasses, he's clumsy, this, that, and the third, versus dude that's fit, he got the muscles, and that stuff is masculine because of how your body is. That's testosterone. Testosterone builds muscles and all of this kind of stuff.
But
we're talking about biological though.
But I get what she's saying, because if you want to go biblical, look at David and Goliath.
We can't. Come on now. Come on. Let's stop
what I'm saying is
we're talking about actual reality.
Some stuff is
observe.
What I think is okay. So what I think is masculine is erections. Erections are masculine.
We getting off track. I took it from masculine. I say alpha.
Okay, so alpha. I mean, and again, alpha, like that whole alpha scenario and stuff didn't come from what y'all think it came from. Like
it came from wolves. I know it.
And it came from wolves, and it was in a controlled environment. That's not even how they really move.
It doesn't matter.
But
lions. Let's say lions. Take away wolves. Let's say lions.
So
when a lion gets out and gets a pride, right, and a young cub comes up, what has to happen for that lion to get the pride?
He has to defeat he has to conquer the male that's there.
The male. What is the male? What is that male that has the pride?
The alpha.
The alpha.
The most alpha is out there. What you call them? This is they learn this from wolves, right? They study wolves, but the thing is, it happens in everything in biology. Everything in biology goes about this way in nature. That the strongest survive. What is it, survival of the fittest, right?
Right, the survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest. So
The survival of the fittest.
we get caught up on terms, right? Don't get caught up on terms.
Yeah, so on the terminology. So who are the better survivors? If you're asking me that, oh yeah, Black women. Absolutely.
So okay, there you go. So that's really not what I was saying, but we're gonna go ahead for this personal conversation because the thing is, we can say that arguably that Black women are the best survivors because we went through the most shit, right?
Right.
So we can say that. We can all agree with that. But what I'm saying now, that's race history, right? I'm talking about now. Actions. Just based on our actions. When you look at a Black woman, a white woman, or whatever race of women down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be more aggressive.
Black women.
Sister, come on now. I'm going to tell you what's going on here, and I'm going to tell you is a term for that, right? And it's we're bad about it because we don't want to. A lot of times we don't want to face reality because it bothers us, right?
Mm-hmm.
It bothers us because I mean we have to. This is what I believe about our community. How we can solve all this shit in our community, right? We need to face what the truth is, and we're not our truths because they made that shit up. Our truths is bullshit because there's no your truth, there's no your truth, right? There's an overall truth that we can actually prove. What we can prove is actual truth.
Okay.
Everything else is a variation of that truth. And what people do, right, it's called cognitive dissonance, right? You're facing the reality that everybody sees, but it's uncomfortable because we don't want to blame people. And women do this a lot to other women, right? We don't want to blame people, we don't want to shame others, we want, some women, because we know women are big, whatever, but some women, and what that does, it leaves a big gray area for women that don't want to be held accountable to hide in. Because all women are not holding these women accountable. Men, we are better at doing that because we have a lesser man, like they attack Russell Wilson. Wrong, right? I'm telling you it's wrong because I don't see that. But like they attack Russell Wilson, right? Men will attack other men to put them in their place. There's hierarchies in men. In women, y'all all want to be sister queens, whatever, and be on the same level, and it's just not true. I mean, when it comes to reality, observe reality. It's not true. You're going to have a woman that is lesser than another woman. You're going to have a man that's lesser than another man. And to not call it out, to not say, look, this is the standards. This is base standard of man that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Anything above that is lanyap. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Anything below that, we're not accepting it.
Right.
And that's what I think women fail to do, and that's why these F boys are able to operate.
So I was thinking about your question before I answered it because I like to look at a whole picture and not just a skewed point of view because we can look at Black women that are in poverty and look at the kind of hood representations that we're getting in the media, the Cookie Lions and all of this kind of stuff. But I know for a fact that there's a world of Black women that don't move like that. So that's why I hesitate. Because
but that can be true. That can be true. But I'm gonna tell you what the problem is with what you said. When it comes to the other women you just mentioned, the hood women and the women that act out and show out, point blank period, and all this other foolishness that got the attitude, right? Who do y'all champion? Do y'all champion the demure, the more feminine women, or do y'all champion those alpha women?
And again, it's so.
Come on, sister. Who do most women? Who do not you? Who do most women champion?
The alpha women.
So here we go. We got Claire Huxtable, and we got Cookie Lions.
Okay, so there's two. First of all, there's two different time periods. That's the first thing that's wrong with what you just said. That's two different time periods. Women have became that Claire Huxtable thing is back in the 80s, right? Yeah, that's back in the 80s, the late 80s or whatever. It's back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Are totally they're 180 degrees from what that was back in the 80s, right?
Okay, so let me think of who would be a comparable to a Claire Huxtable now.
You gonna have to search for that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and I don't.
There's a reason why. Come on, let's get it. Come on, bring it.
Okay, So let's try a Olivia Pope. How about that?
No, Olivia Pope. What she did on what Olivia Pope was doing? Olivia Pope was sleeping with somebody else's husband,
The
right?
side chick.
No,
But still, okay.
no, not still. Nope. See, that's the standards there. That's the morals we was talking about.
But like you said, the society has changed. So
No. What we're saying is that we're talking about a feminine woman, a picture of a feminine woman that everybody can say, yeah, that's a feminine woman. And uh, 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 what's the chicks on Love and Hip Hop? What's the most ratchetest chick y'all could think of on the far right side? Number 12, positive 12. What's positive 12? Come on out, y'all know that. Y'all know
Mhm.
Oh, I'm trying. Who's the most ratchet on Love and Hip Hop? Erica Mena.
Okay. See,
that's
I
a
don't
terrible minute.
watch, so I don't know.
Okay, well, who do you? Okay, not loving. What's the Atlanta thing? The what you call them?
The Real
Housewives of Atlanta. Housewives of Atlanta.
Like I don't watch the
Nene is the
Housewives.
most
Okay,
ratchet.
so but I know who
Nene
Nene is. Okay, let's go.
Okay,
Let's go.
Nene Leakes on one side, right?
Okay, then
On
who's on
this
the other
side,
side?
who's the
Who's
other
the most
side out this show?
Okay, so if we're doing Real
Michelle Obama.
Housewives,
Michelle Obama. There we go. Michelle
There you
Obama. Thank you.
Okay.
Michelle Obama, and we're talking about attitudes. We're not talking about because Michelle Obama is a whole different attitude from this woman, right? Majority of women, who are they going to champion? We're not talking about accomplishment, Mike. We're not talking about accomplishments. We're not talking about who she married, her position, her title. We're not talking about that.
We're talking about pure attitude.
Purely attitudes. Who are women going to champion?
I think both of them. I think it just
no.
I think so because when
you only have two choices. You can't. You're in the middle line, my number line, right? You can go right or left. Which way you gonna go? You can't split yourself in half. You're gonna go right or left. Which one?
You can't. But you can because we're not monolithic. So
stop it, sister.
So depending on who are you asking? Who are you asking?
Majority women. Majority women.
Majority of what women?
This way. Put it this way.
Are you asking women that are 20 to 25? Are you asking women at 35 to 40? Who are you asking? Because that makes a
range.
Okay. First thing. You got a TV show, and this is gonna help you out. We have a TV show on, right? We have a time slot. We're on a time slot right now, 4 to whatever. 4 to 5, right? There's a time slot. You have Michelle Obama speaking on one channel, and at the same time, you got Housewives of Atlanta speaking on the other channel. Which do you see is gonna have? Which do you think gonna have the biggest views?
Oh yeah, they going to the Housewives.
Okay, the Real Housewives. They want the toxicity.
They tune into drama. They tune into drama. So this is what I'm talking about. Getting back to my original point, because we went all the way to this point, right? My point is that this number line, right, represents the 0 being femininity, 0 being healthy femininity, right?
Okay.
Healthy femininity. Okay, when you a man come to you and he's at a 0, you're in the line. He's at a masculine 0, you're in the line, right?
Right.
There's a problem when he's at masculine 12, he's over, which y'all call it toxic masculinity all day long, right?
Right.
What do you call a positive 12 with a woman?
A bitch.
Majority of women call that strong black woman.
Yeah, that's a bitch.
Majority of women call that. Majority of women she a strong black woman. She don't take no shit from nobody.
That's a gutter. That's a bitter bitch. That's what you call a bitter bitch.
She's an angry black woman.
But angry. Okay, let's angry black. So let's go.
That's the angry black woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you see majority of women at a 0 or towards this side? Do you see and the race? Because I got that. I put that title against biological self for another thing, but. Number line, it represents 0 as being the actual axis of your true place. Right?
Okay.
Meaning, once you get to the negative side of that femininity, you're talking about abuse patients, people that have been abused. The sexual assault, just to let y'all know, people that have been abused have the negative 12. They cower, right?
Okay.
They cower to whatever. That's a problem. Negative 12 is a problem. Positive 12 is a problem. The closer you are to 0, that's the healthy version of you as being a woman. Also, men, it's a healthy version of you being a man. So what men are saying, women over at the positive 5 side of things, they have to pull more back, which means they have to be more feminine, right? A man has to be more feminine to get with this woman that's more aggressive. That's what aggressive women attract, and that's why it's a problem. That's why it's a problem.
I can see that. I can get with that.
Opposite, if a man is on a positive 5 being more masculine, to get him to zero, it takes a more feminine woman. So all the alpha men are going to, attract and want the more feminine women of the line.
The
That's
soft one, the
that's
one
also
that's
why.
not so rough.
Wait, yeah, the
The one
one's
that's
not
not
rough
so
or
rough.
whatever.
Soft,
Now,
the gentle one. So
the gentle. Now they'll screw the masculines all day long.
oh yeah, they
Because
want the
dudes
aggressive
say
ones. They
they want
love
that. You know
they
why?
like the excitement, but
But also
that's
they
not me.
said the masculine women are easy to screw because they operate like men.
Right.
Mhm.
So, but
Because
marriage is a totally different situation.
and they say that because the masculine women are now moving like men too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
you know what? No strings attached. We
Mhm.
gonna do what we do.
Sneaky link, whatever.
We not laying up. We not hugging. When we get done, I get mine. You get yours. You got to go.
Mhm.
Right. So
And men like the excitement.
is that is that masculine or is that operating in what your natural is? Because like we talked about before,
That's still what the natural black woman.
women
That's
were
still what the natural
not
black woman.
women were promiscuous.
No, not totally. The thing is, they went with. I'm gonna tell you what you're talking about. And what happened is that when we were in survival mode back in Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever could protect you was the one that they bonded with. They stayed with.
Right.
They had to. It was survival. So what you're talking about is, I think, is a period of time when we didn't really have to worry about that survival. I mean, we changed. Evolution changes us every so often, but originally, right, we had to fight the elements. So a woman did not have the hold on a second, I got what you call 'em. We got a comment. You're all making great points on both sides of the spectrum on these questions. Just subscribe. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, so when you talk about survival, right? And I think we're going to start seeing that again here in America. We're going to start getting a survival place, and that's why I think this is so important, because when you get up to 70 years old, 60, 70 years old, right? As a woman, if you've been strong in your whole life, you don't in your whole life. When you get 60 to 70, what do you think is going to happen? You think you're going to still be that same person? 60, 70 years old.
I mean, but we evolve every day.
No, we evolve, but I'm saying if you stay in the same place. What I'm saying, I'm sorry. Let me.
Yeah.
If you stay in the same place, I'm sorry, that was my fault. If you stay in the same place,
the same
way you are today, I'm gonna get away from this one right there. If you stay the same way you are today, and I'm talking about not you, but most women that we're talking about a certain type. If they stay the same way they are today, I'm strong and independent. I don't need a man at 60, 70 years old. Do you think that's going to work out long term?
No, they're going to be an old bitter cat woman.
Think about survival though. Think about from a survival
standpoint, and because this is where you got a lot of you're gonna die alone.
No, and let's get away from that because that's triggering. We don't want to go to nothing triggering, right?
Right.
We're just talking about from a biological standing.
From a biological standpoint, if you were a strong, independent woman, and your whole life, and you were logical, you used your logic, you learned to manage your emotions, you will have money in your bank account, you will have friends that you have connected to you, you will have family that you're connected to you. So you will be in a place where you're protected and you're safe.
Okay, so now that you said all those caveats, right? Do you think that's the black women you just named?
I think more black women are going to that.
No, I did not. No. Okay. Stop trying to escape it. Come on, sister.
I'm not trying to escape it, but that goes
majority.
Diana, you're not supposed to be deflecting, sis.
Right now, sis.
Right. But
you think
because I'm tying it back into what you were asking me about. Do you think this is going to be beneficial or not? So, if you're just a stubborn old bitch.
No, then you're gonna because you're adding on. This is the question.
Okay, because I'm not. I guess I'm saying like if you're saying if you're the same way you are today,
your whole life,
70, your whole life, then you're probably not going to make it to 70. you're probably not going to make it to 70.
Okay.
Let me just be clear.
Okay.
You're going to probably die before you get to 70.
Okay.
If you stay the same.
Can you tell us why you die? Can you tell us biologically why you die?
Because anything that's not growing and changing is going to die. So if you're not learning
outside of that.
But no, I mean, if you're not learning from your life experiences, because if you're staying the same, that means you haven't learned anything. If you're not learning from your life experiences, you don't have anything around you to secure you in your old age. You're not going to the doctor. You're not doing nothing because you feel like you know everything. You're going to die.
And therefore, you end up an old, bitter lady with 20 cats.
You're going to die, and you're going to die. Like, you're going to have diabetes. You're going to have high blood pressure. You're going to be lonely. You're going to die of a broken heart. You're going to be lonely. You're going to die. You're not going to make it.
So I'm going to give you the term for this, right? And this was an article, I want to say 2 months ago.
Okay.
It's called a broken heart syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Somebody just put some spam in. I'm doing something. I'm getting spammed, y'all.
Okay.
I ain't never got spam. Anyway, it's something called a broken heart syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it is, and y'all can look this up. What it is that you're starting to see more women have the broken heart syndrome, and it has nothing to do with love, and no, it's not that. What it is that more stress. You know, usually the natural order of things that men usually die before women.
Mm-hmm.
Men usually die.
Women are dying
close
before
to 10 years before women. Women last longer because they had the covering of a man. Going back to what Ashley was saying about unprotecting, disrespecting, right? There's a natural order. We as men, right? The men that choose to be married, the men that choose to have women and father kids and all this other stuff, they sign on to this. They understand. These men understand that, okay, I take care of my kids, I take care of my woman. I'm going to take on the stress because I am a man. That's what we find as being a man, right? Taking all this stuff. And I'm going to do everything I got to do to make sure when I leave this earth, and we're talking about responsible men. We're not talking about F-boys. We're not talking about men. We're not talking about males. We're talking about men. Men. Mm-hmm. They understand that if I do everything I do, when I leave this earth, I'm going to make sure my kids and my woman is going to be okay. They're going to be okay. But I know I'm going to probably leave this earth before them. And we're okay with that. We're okay with that. It's the exchange, right? It's the exchange. The whole thing about, women, that whole back and forth people was doing about who do you feed first foolishness, that bullshit, right? This is a natural agreement, right? That I protect and I look out for everything for this family. I am going to take all this stress on my shoulders, right? All you have to do is make sure I'm okay. Make sure I'm emotionally okay. Make sure I'm taken care of. That's an honor, right? To feed your family. It used to be an honor. That's why I used to honor Big Mama so much. That's why I used to have, pay homage to Big Mama. That's why she held high regard in the family and in the community, because she fed these kids. She was it was a certain structure that happened. So back to the point about women dying earlier is because they're not having the covering of men. They have to be more masculine, which brings up more stress. Right now, women, you see more male pattern baldness. Why? Because they're more masculine. That's why you see more male pattern baldness. This whole alopecia, some of that's male pattern baldness. More masculine, more testosterone, biological, right? More estrogen, more testosterone. Once women have more testosterone, they start to have things that men have. They start to have more facial hair.
That's called polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's what that's called.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Right. So I got a question then. So one, this whole thing, you've been making a differentiating between men and fuckboys. So what's the equivalent to a woman versus a what?
But we don't have a term for that, do we? We don't have a term for that. Why?
Why? Because you lump us all together.
No, we no. Come on now. Come on. No, men. So men, we distinguish ourselves from these lower classes, right? Women distinguish ourselves from lower class. So what is it?
I call them bitter bitches. That's how I.
I mean, that's the attitude. That doesn't count for everything.
That's how I distinguish.
F-boys, no job, don't have their own stuff. They go from woman to woman. They, this encompasses a bunch of stuff that
right.
Do. They are
so to me, a bitter bitch got a bad attitude, She don't listen. She can't compromise. You can't tell her nothing.
She got bad credit.
She got bad credit.
Her pH balance is off.
Right. Like
everything.
So, I mean, you know, we're not all, and that's why I keep saying, you know, we're not monolithic. We're not all lumped together.
No, and you're not.
But
you're going to have to, women are going to have to call other women out for this publicly. Understand? This is the problem. This is the problem we have. Men, we set ourselves in hierarchy until y'all get somewhere and publicly put these in order and order and speak on it and say, okay, nah, that's not me. You have to, as a woman, you have to say we're not monolithic, and you have to show us you're not monolithic, right? You can't give attention to these damn reality TV show women and be like, oh yeah, and repeat after them and come over here, you know, looking ghetto, ratchet, grasping air with the long nails and stuff, and do all this stuff, and think a man is supposed to know you're different than another woman. Understand?
And I think we
y'all already lump us together like that,
right? Because there's nothing I can tell you to make you think I'm not that. There's nothing I can tell you to make you think I'm not that.
I'm gonna give you an example why we is a problem with men, right? Doing it. Back in the 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell the difference between a fine, upstanding woman and the hoe? Could you tell the difference back in the 60s?
No.
You couldn't?
I think so. Yeah. Absolutely.
You can tell the difference between a fine, upstanding woman, a marriage-minded woman, a woman that you want to raise your kids.
There was a uniform. There was a uniform.
That time, the way they dressed. See, the women, the
thank you. But I'm saying you can tell, right?
Constables wore, they wore the blouses, up,
right, the dry sleeves
down to the ankles. And then what they call them, the ladies of the evening.
The ladies of the evening.
Low cut blouses.
Huskies.
There you go.
We all know the terms, right? We all know the terms. So now,
now you can differentiate between who's a hoe and who's not.
Thank you.
Right.
So how do you want men to not feel you're monolithic or distinguish you not being monolithic to the next woman when your uniform is the same as the tribe?
Because first off, because the man's uniform is the same as the fuck boy.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I never sag my pants. You don't see my underwear.
Okay,
but let me tell you something. Your appearance doesn't determine if you're a fuck boy or you're a hoe.
No. Hold on. So first of all, we talk about appearance, and then we're going to actions after that, right?
Right.
After the actions, if like my dad told me something, it was when I first moved to her, right? I used to have cornrows, hair down my back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he put me on the side. He was like, you might want to cut your hair, because they're gonna look at you a certain way. I'm like, I'm fine with that. As soon as they talk to me and I come out, they're gonna be cool. They're gonna be all right. So I you know what? My appearance keeps people away that I don't want to be around.
That's how they did Michael Vick.
Yeah,
when they talked about him with his braids.
It keeps people away from me. I don't want to be around me anyway. But if you, as a woman, right, and this was my thing, is dealing with women. As a woman, if you took time to get to try to know me, okay, you're trying to know me, and then once I start talking, now you understand I am different from everybody else. We can have a conversation. We can go on. Once you see, and you said quantity versus quality for women,
right?
It doesn't work for women. What y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get quality the way y'all dress. Y'all get quantity the way y'all dress. Y'all don't get quality the way y'all dress. And that's why that's the problem.
And I agree. I definitely agree. But I can't disregard the fact that, again, we're in a society that a woman has to be attached to a man.
No, that's
now it's not as
we're talking about the way women move.
But you got to understand it's all connected, because if I'm trying to get married and I'm trying to get male attention and I'm trying to, do what I'm supposed to be doing as a woman, and I'm not getting nobody is trying to holler at me. I'm not getting no play when I am completely covered, and I'm carrying myself in the way that you say you want a woman to carry themselves.
Well, that's because society has normalized that you need to be this fake ass Instagram model.
Right. So because you're
not society. It's not society. We're gonna stop that, because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why we're gonna stop that.
But
because
that's what's being promoted. When
in
real life,
who started this though?
because I said this on my show Friday.
Go ahead.
You might have the baddest female, you
Mhm.
know, men won't, you know, they go for looks. She got this Coke bottle shape and this, that, and the third, but she keeps a nasty house. She has nothing to offer or bring to the table.
Mhm.
Just like when it comes to men, you may have the finest man that everybody wanted, but in reality, this nigga got you sliding down the wall crying like you in a 90s R&B video.
Right.
Facade that people are buying into when at the end of the day, go past the appearance. Okay, so I decided to wear a dress that was a little tight or a little short that had my shape showing. That doesn't make me a hoe.
Right.
And once again, just like the analogy I said about myself when I talked to my dad, right? A man might look at you that way and approach you. Once you open your mouth, you either gonna
Prove
him
them wrong or prove them wrong.
And this is the problem I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about, overall looks, because that's, from across the room, like I said, across the room, y'all all look the same.
But you know what? But in the beginning, you always meet their representative.
And that's
true. Hey, that's a problem too. You remember I put that post up about
that's how we started talking.
That's how we started that talk, right? And did you hear, like, some of the women just went to some whatever, it's like, no, dudes, because all I was saying, I wasn't attacking women. All I was saying is that men have to deal with that too. Men deal with that actually on a greater scale, because we can't tell y'all apart. From across the room, I can't tell you from nobody else. So that's why the whole representative thing. And once again, I sold women clothes for 7 years. I can tell you, a woman that used to come in my store, act a certain way. You see her out and she act totally different. Like, she doesn't get a damn $20 dress. She act like she got a $300 dress and have the attitude, out this world. But it's like, and it's not. I'm not saying about the money. It's not about the money aspect. What I'm saying is that your feelings are tied to your emotions, right? I mean, the way you act is tied to your emotions, right? As a woman, women are more emotional. So when you feel a certain way, when you feel good, when you look good, you feel good, right? It's tied in together. So that's what I was trying to say with actual, men dealing with stuff, because when women feel they the shit, they will have an attitude like they the shit.
But men do too.
But that's human nature.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you
when you feel good, you talk your shit.
No, I'm gonna tell you the difference. With men, it's not about looks. With men, it's about money. Because when men can sit there and have the bag and spend money and blow money, he's distinguished himself from all of the men, and all the women. Once again, quantity. All the women look at him because he got the bag. Now, of course, looks are going to do it, but it's not just looks. Because I can put on Versace, whatever. But if I can't back it up with, in the club buying bottles and stuff, I'm off in the corner, because I can't compete these other dudes that's out here blowing it, right?
But that representative, that's what you're talking. That representative. So that man in his Armani suit or whatever, he gonna max out his credit cards. He gonna rent whatever to
that credit score of 435. He's still
borrow his car so he can play that look. So we deal with the same thing, but in a different capacity, in a different
illusion.
Once again, the reason I was saying what I'm saying is that you will not see majority men that you actually want to deal with, right? The men you want to deal with are not going to be out here peacocking in the club doing all that shit. And this is the problem. This is the problem that women have. The problem we have is this shining nigga over here look like the nigga you want to be with. That's you want to be with.
But here's the thing: the majority of the women you want to be with, that you say you want, not going to be in that club either.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I agree. Well, let's take it away from the club. Let's go somewhere outside the club, because that's a bad analogy.
Okay, so let's go to
driving. Let's talk about driving cars. Let's talk about driving a certain kind of car.
Okay,
because that's something that draws women's attention. A dude out there driving a certain car, you see him get out of a certain car, heads turn.
Right.
I-8, heads turn. Right?
Okay.
Versus a man seeing a woman dressed a certain way, heads turn.
Right.
She's dressed a certain way.
Right.
Now, what women usually say, I-8 is success, right? That's what most women look at. This is a man is successful. With men and some women, because I've met some women that think this way, this Negro got a crazy bill. how is he going to prepare for, unless he got, once you start talking to me, you see what kind of financial situation, or what kind of job he got. You can try to, do the math in your head and say this ain't, this math ain't math. How you say, Ashley? This
Yes,
math ain't math.
math ain't math.
The
Baby.
math ain't math.
Let me know how 2 + 2 = 5. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
Women can
Right.
do that much easier, because what ends up happening is that eventually you're going to spend enough time with this dude. If you don't, and this shit, this the other thing that's a problem, right? Patience is a woman's friend, but our women have so little patience a lot of times.
That's true.
Patience is a woman's friend when dealing with dudes. Y'all want to, let's get it. Let's do this. Let me see how much I can do. Get this nigga to spend right? But that works against you. That works against women. We going all over the place, and I didn't want to go.
Right. But I didn't want to. But it all ties. Well, I can see how it all ties in together, though. Everything we've been talking about, it all meshes together. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. A lot of the time women are impatient, and we don't want to sit here like we was when we were in school, we write the boy we like with our crush. We wrote our first name with his last name. We already got a whole wedding planned out.
And that's why we're impatient, because we go we based our lives on a schedule.
Right. Because we've been told this is what you're supposed to do
at a certain age.
At a certain age, as a woman, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, and this is how as a woman, you're not even supposed to have sex unless this guy loves you and he's gonna marry you. That's why we can fall for the lies so easily.
But the thing is, see, and this is the thing. This is where it's like getting convoluted, because inflated. I'm sorry, this is where it's getting inflated, because the thing is, one thing is biologically, you're supposed to want to be with a man. You're supposed, a man is supposed to want to be with a woman. We attract each other.
Right. But the messaging that young women get and young men get conflict each other.
Because they're two different species. You got to understand. You got
right. It's a lot. But look, if you're telling me not to have sex and I'm telling you to have all the sex you can,
that's not what I'm saying. No,
it's going to, but that's what the messaging is.
Okay, so who's going
to have conflict?
Let's go to that. If you tell a boy that, right, who's having sex with?
Exactly.
Okay, but no, exactly nothing. Who? If I tell a boy that, right, can he have as much sex as he can if the woman does to me and told something different?
Right. So here's the thing.
No, answer my question.
So wait, what is the question?
Can a man have all the sex he can if a woman is being told something she's listening to she's being told about having sex?
Yes, she can.
How can he have all the sex he can?
Lies.
No. Once again, listen. No, stay with me. Stay with me. Focus. You're telling this woman, we have to be specific, because this is, like I said, because the reason we have what we have now, because people hide in the gray area. Both fuck boys and these girls, they hide in the gray area, and the majority of girls hide in the gray area. It's called fantasy, right?
Right.
The problem is that you tell this girl not only don't have sex, but do not have sex outside of marriage. Get married first. It's not going to solve all problems, right? It's not going to solve all problems. I'm not saying it's perfect. Nothing is perfect. The people that make it arguments are, it's not perfect. People going to do this. People going to do that anyway. People going to cheat on other people whether you marry them or not. People going to beat women whether you married to them or not. People are going to have kids outside of this woman and go to other women whether they're married or not. It's going to happen either way. The thing we have to do is the standard. The foundation for our community is not the foundation for every other community. That's why we are screwed. That's why. But this is what I'm trying to say, right? Because we tell girls don't have sex, we don't say, hey, you need to wait till you get married to a man. If this man cares so much about you, if you value my body so much, you make this man pay the ultimate price before you give him the greatest reward.
That's not normalized now.
That's what I'm saying, Ashley. That's what I'm saying. For the mothers to say something, we say, oh, well, the mother's doing the best they can, whatever, this, that, and other, which they might be. But the thing is, so I'm gonna pull back up that picture I put up, right? About here we go. I'm gonna put this picture up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people, right? Conquer the people. You got to destroy the love they have for one another. The reason we don't have love for one another, because once again, we're telling women Oh, you could do just as much as men do, right? So
Mm-hmm.
start to compete with men. Y'all competing with us. When the thing is, what I used to study when I was younger, before I started dealing with girls, before I got sexualized and all this other stuff, this negative stuff, before I got negative. Um, I used to read
Been a demon
Chinese
your whole
proverbs. Do what? Nah, not my
life.
whole
Been a
life.
demon
No,
your
no,
whole
actually, no, actually, I had stages. Actually, my first part of my life, I was very manly. I was very manly. The first part of my, then I got to a dormant stage between sixth grade and 12th grade, where I just watch people because I'm like, it I'm like, people are moving a certain way, and I watched the way people move, and it was crazy to me. I'm like, this don't make no sense. So what I studied was Chinese, right? The Chinese proverbs, the Chinese stuff, and the whole thing. You've seen yin and yang before, right? The symbol,
Mm-hmm.
Yang,
part of it's black, part is white. It's
the
not
yin and
shaped the
yang.
same. It's not straight down the middle, but it kind of curves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens with this is that the white side is the feminine energy, the black side
Mm-hmm.
is the masculine energy. They fit together to make a perfect circle.
Right.
180 degrees, 180 degrees, 360 degrees of total consciousness, right? So
Right.
the thing is, by y'all competing with us, y'all taking over more than 180 degrees, and we men don't have to do a lot of that stuff because y'all took over. So
Right.
maybe the man is giving you maybe 100 degrees, and y'all got, what is that? You say 180? I can't remember shit. Y'all
260,
got 260.
260,
Y'all
260.
got 260, and we only got 100%. Y'all didn't bleed over to our thing because once again, I hate to be talking about it, keep harping on this, but because y'all joined the white women. The white women went back to their men, right? They went back to their men after they did this movement, and they said, even the founders of the movement, y'all go look this up if y'all don't believe me, went back to a husband, had kids, had a wonderful life, whatever, and came back and admitted that they lied during the feminist movement. They
Mm-hmm.
sell products. Cosmopolitan lied to sell women products. They had to tell women, you can have it all. You can be independent and you can have a family and a household, this, that, the other, which is crazy. Realistically, when you think about logically, you only have 24 hours in a day. So if
Yeah.
you got and you got to split that 24 hours with 8 hours at work, right? 8 hours work, you sleep 8 hours. It's only 16 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You have what else? 8 hours left,
The
right?
other 8 you sleep, or 6, or
Well,
however.
yeah, you have 8 hours
Right.
work. So you got 8 hours to do something for yourself, to do for kids or whatever. Only 8 hours. Now those 8 hours might be off because you don't know when you're gonna work. Kids could be at school, so they ain't getting no attention.
Right.
That 8 hours is not perfectly balanced. That 8 hours is 8 hours total.
Right.
So um also so once again, I like to go back to facts and stuff. And this is an article right here that I got.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know remember where I put it up, but this is what they did. They said they were trying to get fewer women to be put into the workforce.
Right.
The city ordinance soon to be passed that wanted black women to get in the workforce. They didn't say white women. They said
Mm-hmm.
Negro women. It's the reason why. It's the reason why. This is design. This is
Yeah.
us right now. What we're going through is a design. Destroy the black family was always the narrative. It was always the objective of our enemy. The power.
Right.
It was always the
Hence
objective.
your vice president.
I'm not okay. So we're gonna stay on top because this is
Okay. So,
we're
but
gonna stay
so
on top.
going
Here we
so
go.
going back to the point I was making about men or young men and young women getting different messaging, and you're saying if women are doing what they're told, how is how are the boys able to have sleep with as many women as possible? And bringing that back to the picture that you said, destroy the love for each other, or what was it? To
In order
conquer,
to conquer the people, you have to
to destroy the love for each other, right? So if you're told in order to be a man, a cool man, or whatever, because we all, especially in those those late teen, early 20s, we all just want to be accepted, right?
The majority of us.
Right. So if you're being told to be, the cool dude is to have as much sex as possible.
Mhm.
And I'm being told that the only way you need to be having sex is
if you're married.
if I'm married, or at the very least, he needs to be in love with you, or it needs to be
No,
going
not the very least.
somewhere.
That's gray area. Nope. Nope.
You
But
have to
that's
be married. If you're gonna
That's
have
correct.
sex, you need to have a husband.
Right. You have to be, but that's more of what the what's going on. So it's more of, it's more acceptable. I guess maybe it's more lax if you're in a relationship. If you can say this is your man. Casual sex is not acceptable. Period. Like, just whatever. And women are sexual. We want to have sex as teenagers and young adults. We get horny just like men do.
No, I understand it. Okay,
Hold on. Let me finish the point. Let me go to the point.
Have sex. Let's say have kids. Let's put it that way, because
Okay.
let's say have children. Let's put it, because we're not talking theory. In theory, that'd be awesome, but it's not.
Yeah. So children. So we told, you need to have children if you're married as a woman. But the men are not being told that. They're told just shoot up the club, have as much sex as you can as possible, right?
Understand this. Understand what you're saying now. If I tell the men to sleep with, okay, yeah, go ahead on and sow your royals. That's the saying, right? Which I've heard a lot of women tell boys this. This is what women tell boys. Okay, so we're not. This is not a man-woman thing at this point. What I'm saying is, whoever got a related messages, kids. We're not talking men and women. We're not differentiating them, right? The boys, right? Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, you can have sex, whatever. But we telling the girls, hey, until he make a commitment, you don't have no kids.
Right. But here's the thing. But the boys will lie. They will say, here's the thing.
How are they gonna lie when you tell them you don't have kids until you get married?
When you are young and before you've experienced life, and this dude is in your ear, and this is your first boyfriend or your first love or whatever, and he's telling you, I'm going to take care of you, I want you to have my baby, you going to fall for the okie doke. A lot of women do.
Okay, so
but if you were
told, once again, you gave it out. We're talking about the message. We're talking about the message you have to relay to your daughter, right? The moral compass. That's why I'm on. That's why I keep
right. So the message I'm relaying to my daughter is
giving women the moral compass.
The message I'm relaying to my daughter is have babies in a marriage.
Okay, there you go.
Period. That's the message.
So do you think that's the message that gets preached in this society today by women?
No.
Moral compass is off.
And the moral compass is off. But what I'm saying is the messaging is different. Like that message needs to be different. That message needs to be the same for both sides.
No, it doesn't. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Come on, sister, come back to me. I'm gonna tell you
back.
Biologically, right? Biological. Let's not even say message. God built us a certain way, right? God built man to make as many kids as he can make, right? God built women to do what? Make how many kids at one time?
To carry.
Well, you could carry more, but I'm just saying to get a seed from how many people at one time?
One.
And birth that one at 9 months, right? Could be double, could be triple, whatever, quadruple, whatever. But I'm just saying, majority of people only have one kid. Majority of people have one kid at a time. So biologically, right? The reason the message is different because biologically we are different. We have got out of line because we start telling each other, you are the same as me, and biologically it's not the same.
Right. But here's the thing. We're animal nature, but what makes us different than the animals is our ability to deny our base needs. So we don't have to eat as soon as we get hungry.
Mm-hmm.
We can control our urine until we get to the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. So that means that we don't have to. As a man, you can control that. You don't have to go and sow your royal oats.
We don't.
And in the state that our community is in, that messaging needs to stop. That messaging needs to end. And again, while women, because if you go with that messaging and know men and women are not the same, but at the base, we both have base desires. This is biological. You can take the religion out of it. This is biological. Biologically, if a man is gone too long, his sperm, like her husband, his sperm will be stronger to compete with the other men she's been sleeping with to make sure that baby comes. So we are we are built. We as women, we are designed to take semen from multiple because we're trying to get the best viable candidate.
Right.
So bring that
first of all,
today to 20.
biologically, what you're saying, right, is very irresponsible. What you just said is very irresponsible.
It is.
Okay,
It is.
I'm just gonna make sure because I'm just so the audience, that's very irresponsible.
It's very irresponsible, but again, that's what makes us different than a lion or a bear or a tiger, because we can say, even though this is, in my nature, I can curb that. I can say I have the logic and the reason to say I'm not going to do this.
Okay.
And that's why I say in 2022, we need to get that sow your royal oats message out. No, you need to make this woman a wife.
So I haven't heard that said to men in I don't know, over 10 years.
Well,
so
yeah, we don't use that terminology. We use fuck bitches get money. The terminology is different, but the thing is the same.
Older men, I don't hear older men laying that same message. That's young term. What you just said is young term, first of all.
Yeah.
What you said, you actually heard that? Come on,
because you got these old men that still want to act like they young dudes.
Okay, that's males. That's we talking about men. Men, responsible men, take care of the kids,
right?
Take care of the family. We're talking about those. So there's not. I'm gonna give y'all one thing. We're a minute portion of our community. These men that are being responsible might be a minute part of the community as far as relaying this type of message. I'm gonna tell you two reasons. The reason why. You have a lot of people giving the wrong message. The second reason, because majority of men think they can't even talk to you. Like, people don't want to hear them. Y'all don't hear black men unless they dying, unless they got a lot of money, playing basketball or making music. Majority of people
not necessarily true.
Okay.
Black men are scared to talk to younger black men because they will blow your head off.
Who do people respect in black men? What kind of black men do people respect as a whole? Women and men are included in our community. Who do they respect?
Whoever got the money.
Money, rappers, artists, actors,
entertainers.
Entertainment
shapes our culture.
And all the time people really stand for black people. Like I'm doing this show now, talking to y'all, right? I put this out all over the place, right? Nobody wants to come. We got 4 people. We had 7 people here, right? No, everybody agrees there's a problem with our community, but nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody cares about our damn community. And it's crazy that we can sit here and agree, everybody across the board, damn near 100% agree that the black community is failing.
Right. But nobody wants to come when it's talk about solutions.
Nobody wants to come to solution. So this is the problem. The problem is that, as much as you say people want to hear black men, right? They want to hear black women more than want to hear black men. And the thing is that, once again, heavy's the head to wear the tiara. The reason why y'all getting called to put your foot to fire because people want to hear y'all more than want to hear black men. We cannot put a message out there that the mass is gonna want to listen to.
So then, what do you say about all these black men with these red pill podcasts that is killing it with millions of people listening? They got millions of viewers.
Oh shit! I have a clip, right? I was prepared for this question. Okay, so we got here, right? Which I like to go to the number line for some things. I like to go to pendulum, right?
Okay.
You know what the pendulum? Everybody know what the pendulum is. It swings one way or another. I put some words up because I was going to speak to your patriarchy thing. So these words, don't worry about the words. But the thing is that what we have now on one side, the middle is a centralized point where we need to be at. The left side is where the women talking point, all the women stuff that we've been hearing since the 70s, right? Back in the 90s when Shahrazad Ali was talking about, we need to get women, we need to talk to black women out of order. They didn't want to hear that, right? They want to be the left. They want to be the women's side. The right side is the patriarchy, as you say, or the men's thing. That is where that's where it's swung now to the red pill. It's gonna have to be balanced out, right? What we got going on now is stuff has swung the other way to the red pill side. Where majority of people are hearing this because why? Black men didn't have no voice. We didn't have no voice since the 70s.
So let me ask you this then. If black men didn't have no voice, where did bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks come from?
Artists. Listen to what we just said.
But that's the black
artists.
man's voice.
No,
that
it's
was their voice. That
Do you want that message to be put out? That's not our voice.
that's not the message
man's
that I
voice.
want put out. But what I'm saying is
That's not a responsible black man's voice.
no, it's not. But what is it? Entertainment shapes our culture, and that's how black men through that rap, through the hip hop. Because when where you were talking about what's her name,
Shahrazad Ali. Mm-hmm.
During that same time, we was trying to bring this gangster rap and into under control. Like, hey, no, you can't talk about women like this. You can't talk about your black women like this. You can't talk about each other like this. And men were not listening to it because they're saying this is our story. And
because women were going along with it.
I don't have it because the women are. So I thought the men were supposed to be the leader. So if this is where you're leading and the women are following you.
No, they're not following. And that's the problem. They shut up. Men shut up because women weren't following. Women stopped following during feminism. But
they had been following.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Since feminism, right? Y'all sided with the white woman, not you, women, black women. So does that seem like they're following black men at that point?
Yeah, they were. When you talk about, so here's the thing: when people talk about the feminist movement, the feminist movement, they, like I said, one, they don't ever talk about why you would run away.
That
right?
doesn't matter, sister. What we're talking about is the effects of the movement.
Okay, so then you start bringing into the government and keeping the men out of the homes, right?
Okay, so we're just another deflection, sister. We talking about the effects of the movement. It don't matter why the movement happened, right? It don't matter. What we're talking about is the movement happened,
right?
Changed. The movement is actually, let's put a pin in that movement, right? Because it's the point that things changed and veered off. Prior to 1960s, here's the figures.
Okay.
1960s, we had an 80% marriage rate.
80%,
87%. I'm sorry. Black families were in 2-parent homes. Let's say 80% was married, just for the sake of the argument. Maybe all of them were married, but 80% was married. Today, we have 25% of black families 2-parent home. 20-something% are married. Right. So we gotta put a label on what where the problem happened at, where it happened.
Okay. And you're saying it happened with feminism is where you think you believe that we took a change and started to not
declare our own independence.
Right.
Independence from who? Now, independence from who?
From the black man.
From the black man, from the black man, yeah, from black man. But what is a family? What is a family?
A father, and children.
So black women that claim their independence left the black family. Now today, what is the family today?
But they pushed the black man out of the house.
And I get that. I get that. What I'm saying is that the thing. So one can't happen without the other. Understand?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yes. Right. So and I think that's what I was trying to get at when you were trying to tell me that I was deflecting, but. When these men left the house, it wasn't that she put him out or she pushed him out.
It happened.
There was a mutual decision between the two parties because at this point, like you said, up until the 60s, the men were leading. So it wasn't no woman telling no man that he had to get out of his house. That wasn't happening. What happened,
ma'am? Who does the law side with? Who does?
I'm sorry.
Does the man? Who does the law side with?
The law sides with the woman now.
No. Even back then, in the black community, now maybe not the white community, and that's the thing. That's where things get screwed up. In the white community,
the woman was always right.
The woman was always right in the white community. But in the black community, the black man was always wrong. It's not the black woman was right, but the black man was always wrong in the black.
What I'm saying is those are the women that you would say were submissive to their husbands, right? They were submissive to their men.
Which ones? What are you talking about?
The ones, the women from the 60s and the 50s and
that we're saying at the point when this went awry, because see, this is the thing we got to understand. There's a saying, right? Private moments hurt only us. Public moments hurt everyone, right?
Right.
That's why I'm not a fan of this whole reality TV shit. That's why all these movements I have a problem with, because when you have a public, you make something public, you make something an issue publicly, you shed light on something,
right?
It's going to have an effect some kind of way. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying black women are to blame for this. Listen to me well. What I'm saying is black women did not understand what they were doing, and they sided with the white women that was our enemy. Like,
what I'm saying is that you're not about to put no black man out his house in the 60s because because you don't because of the submission that's in you, you're not going to do that. There was a mutual understanding that you can't take care of us as the man. You know, you don't have the income to feed me and our children. So we came together and made a mutual decision that you were going to leave so that your children could have a roof over their head and food in their stomach. That's that's the story that happened. It wasn't just like, oh, F this, I don't need no man.
No, it didn't happen that way. I didn't say it happened. What happened systematically, they built the system to go against. There's a guy named Daniel Patrick Moynihan. Look it up. It's the Moynihan report. 1965, he wrote this report saying, do not give reparations, do not get welfare to the black community, because what's going to happen if you do that to the family, if you do that, because the only way they could do that, women had the kids 100% of the time, right? The kids went to women. So if you did that, they had to give it to the woman. If you give it to the woman, they're going to choose the money over their men. That's what came out of that 1965 report, right? And what happened was what we have. I don't need a man. One second, because I'm going to play a video from 1967, right? I did a show on this, so that's why I have this cue. This was not part of whatever, but I have this cue because this was a systematic thing, and I did a show on it. Hold on one second. This is a white woman speaking now. Then it's going to be a black woman talking.
The premise of the ADC program is simple: that children without visible means of support must be aided by the state. But to be eligible, a mother and her children must be without a man in the house. And it begins again. Brenda is 19, unmarried, and she has just had a baby. She's learning to care for him on her own. She's trying to get a job to support him, and she lives with her aunt, who has 5 children of her own.
Sorry, that beginning was what you call we would say money. But that's the thing I want to put up.
Partly because of the general rule that welfare is cut off if there is a man in the house, fathers are often driven away so that mother and children can eat.
85% of the head of household is a woman, because most of the men who should be in the household, they cannot make a decent living. And of course it is better to know that a child will be fed 12 months out of the year than 3 months, which you do in the summer when construction work, you can make a decent living.
The man in the house rule was written to prevent welfare cheating, to make sure that aid to families with dependent children would go only to families headed by mothers. But the effect of the man in the house rule is to create for children an atmosphere of investigation and surveillance. And thus, the welfare system in its operation turns out to be a system to make life harder for children.
The welfare system helps the disintegration of the American family. It offers money to families if the fathers will leave them and stay away, in that sense undoing the very stability of the family and taking away one of the 2 parents that children, of course, need. And what I have seen, I'm afraid to say, all over the country is that the legal system works against the best kind of home for these children. We don't encourage parents to be at home with the children. We don't encourage mothers to feel that they can find their destiny as mothers. We take away, in many of the most vulnerable homes, fathers from those homes. We herd foster children together in institutions rather than trying to find decent homes for them.
Yeah, that my video's messed up. So, yeah. But anyway, like the first two videos was 1967. That last video, to let you know, was 73. That was here in Atlanta. That was they were talking about the welfare system program making a situation where fatherless households happen. Creating a situation. I'm sorry, creating a situation where fatherless households happen. So we're talking about, and this is the thing, we've been told. So we've been told things to pass down generation to generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until we look at the certain figures, and once I look at the figures with the stats, there was a rise around 65, 66. There was a rise in marriages going down, and then it also happened. We pump drugs in community. Um, there was a rise at the same time as a rise. Now it was a correlation between the two. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm not blaming black women about this because at the same time, black men were being, how you gonna make money for your family? We're gonna put drugs in the community so we could give you money to make for your family. But what's gonna happen? We're gonna take your husband or your man outside the house because he's trying to make money for your family. So what I'm saying is systematically, right? If a man, and you kept saying the man put himself out, the man did this, that. No, they built a structure. They built a structure that was not. What you gonna say? I mean,
But no, that's what I said earlier. The system. In order for a woman to be able to take care of her children, they had to remove the father from the home because you couldn't get any type of assistance as long as you had the father in the home. So they systemically pushed him out of the household.
Right. And what I'm saying is not so much that, men just abandoned their families or anything like that. And I'm not blaming men, just like you're not blaming the women. What I'm saying is when you sitting here as a husband and wife or, a couple, and you, like the lady said, and it's so funny that you played this video because that was what I was thinking about when I said that. When you're sitting here at the table as a man and a woman and you got these babies crying because they're hungry. As the man, I don't think it's far-fetched for you to be like, okay, I can't feed y'all. I can't feed y'all. If I leave, you can get this check so y'all can eat. And that's why I said it was a mutual decision for survival. It wasn't I just want the check. It wasn't that because the money they were given wasn't really, they were still struggling.
No, but it was more than nothing. No, I agree. Some of it did, but for majority, this is what I'm going to tell you the majority why it didn't happen that way. What man is going to want to leave his woman in a house by herself?
None. But what man?
Not no real man.
What man is going to want to watch their babies be hungry too?
None. Okay, but what I'm saying is that a man is going to go out here and try to whatever, hence the drug and all this other stuff coming.
Exactly.
Whatever. But what I'm saying is that they had some men that said, this is the play, right? We're going to do this. But you know what they started doing? They started going into people's houses. Claudine, there's a movie back in the 70s called Claudine. Yeah. They started going into people's houses. So at this point, that was no longer, it's not reality. The reality is that I cannot play the system like that. So it had to happen at that point when I cannot play a system like that.
Right. And then, and that's where I think that's where that's how drugs got a lot of our men because they were depressed. They were depressed. They felt like they failed.
I agree. No,
they failed. They failed their families. They failed their women, and it just went on down from there. But the core is not the narrative. Is the core was that the women pushed the men out of their homes, and that wasn't the case. It was a survival.
Yeah, it was survival, but that happened too.
But that came from because again, you did your construction work, like you said, you did your construction work. And you were able to provide for 3 months, but what about the other 9 months? So when you sit down and you look, and she keep having babies, and you can't feed them, but somebody is offering you a way to feed the baby, and you thinking, well, when they not here, I'm just gonna, like you said, I'm just gonna, pop in, you get the check, but they're coming in, they're looking for your clothes, they're looking for your men's products to be able to not, and so. I don't think it started like I'm just going to take. Now we have the welfare that's like I'm just going to pop out babies and get this is going to be my job. But at the root don't think that was the thought process. I think most of them would have rather had their man there and rather be in married situation, especially since that was the narrative there.
Now, when you tell these women you don't need a man during the feminist movement, now when you tell these women you don't need a man, because at some point they bought into that. So that's why I said they happened at pretty much around the same time. Around the same time, they both happened around the same time.
But even then, even with the you don't need a man, you don't need a man, you don't need a man rhetoric, you like I was saying earlier, it takes years to undo that condition, right? So
where does it start? If it takes years, where does it start? Because nobody wants to start that.
The I don't need a man conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
When does it start?
When and who has to start that?
So I don't know. Like I kind of feel like we got to get out of the I need mindset, right? Because a lot of people get into bad situations because they feel like they need. When we get out of the I want to build this life with you, then I think we're moving a little bit better. The need, I think there was a time where you did actually need a man, like it wasn't optional.
Okay. So then we go, like I said, go fast forward.
So now we're fast forwarding to what today?
Fast forward 30 years from now, today.
Mm-hmm.
These women that had that same mindset, I don't need a man, is gonna wish they would have did something different.
The women. So you're thinking about. So we're talking about what women
are
at what age now?
Retirement. We're talking about retirement ages. With 65 is usually retirement age. So
right. So we're talking about. But I'm saying, what age are the women now?
How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm 38.
38. Okay, so let's talk about 27 years.
Right.
27 years from now, the women that had that message,
that I don't need a man message.
Do you think they're going to feel that they were wrong? Majority. I understand there's outliers. There were women that
what's got me kind of slow to answer is because right now, statistically speaking, older women, older single women tend to be happier. They tend to have more wealth. That was the
I just put up the figures for that wealth thing. So
that was I can't see that.
You can't. So
I can't see the numbers.
The earnings, the median earnings for full time in 2018. This is 2018, right? It's been done in 2020. There's some. It's around the same numbers, but let's say it was 36,000. 35% of women work full time. 36,000 was the median income. Now it's 42 or 41,000 maybe. So women making over $50,000, 17%. No, I'm sorry, 20%, 26%. 6 over $50,000, right? 26%. So we're talking about the rest of 74% of women, right? 74% of women is a real big number. What do you think these women are going to feel?
They're probably going to feel like they failed.
So the
thing, feel like they feel something.
You're talking about, I don't need a man, right? The words don't matter what the words say. The words I don't need, I want, whatever. It doesn't matter. When your life, when you get down to towards the end of your life, this message telling women, you don't need a man, girl. You don't need a man, girl. When 74% of these women living below poverty.
Not
say below poverty. They're just making it, they're scraping it just to get by.
I saw a different statistic but I didn't pull it up, and I can't remember it, so I won't quote it. But I'll inbox
What
it
we
to
do,
you.
you'll do that. You put it in this comment section.
Okay. Yeah,
So, but let's
I'll
say,
hit it later. But
do you think it's 50% of women that's making over 50,000?
Yeah, I would say probably half. I would say it was 50-50. And if that's the case, 50% is still a lot.
It's
50% is still a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's so difficult because one thing is I'm 38 years old, and I can say that I personally have never heard a woman say, I don't need a man.
Okay. Well, but you've been around a bunch of married women, so you wouldn't hear that.
Right. But I've been in a bunch of a bunch of women's spaces as well. Beauty shops, nail shops, I've been in a bunch of places where women, talk.
Okay, let's take away from that rhetoric, right? Let's say promoting a strong, independent woman thing.
Right. So I think
what do you think independent means?
Independent means I don't that I can do it alone.
By myself, right? So we're gonna get away from that rhetoric, right? We're gonna stick right there with that. I can do it by myself.
Right. So I think a lot of women are on the I don't need you specifically, not that I don't need anybody.
No, they say independent. Independent doesn't mean you want anybody. No, we went to
and again, that's kind of a
independent means alone.
Yeah, independent means alone. And I think, when people use these words, they don't know what exactly they're saying.
And that's why I'm pushing. That's why I keep pushing back, because we need to set a message that.
Yeah, we definitely need, like, we are interdependent.
Thank you. That's
the actual word that we should be using, but we use the terminology that's been given to us. I'm a strong Black woman. Well, I'm strong because I have to be strong.
Okay. So we lost Ashley, but so I have two things I want to post, as because we need to talk about solutions and tail enders. We've been going.
Oh, absolutely. Like
we 3 hours, so we're going about 3 hours. We need, at some point, we need to talk about solutions. We need to talk about. I have two, and we're going to talk about that. But right now, okay, you said something about biology, right? About we're not animals, right? We can act outside of animals. So right. I want to show you. I'm going to show you a clip that proves the type of animal we operate like.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you exactly. You're gonna tell me, could this be true, or is it, far-fetched, whatever? So I'm gonna play this clip, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna give solutions, and I'm gonna get your final thoughts.
Okay, sure.
All right. Hi, this is Kate from Minute Earth, and this is Scarface, one of the hyenas I studied in Kenya. And like all male spotted hyenas, his life sucks. Babyhood is actually the pinnacle of a male hyena's life. Itty-bitty cubs of both sexes rank just below their moms, who make up the entire top of the clan's social hierarchy. So cubs have decent access to food, sleeping spots, and everything else. But male cubs' glory days are short. Females generally don't like mating with males from the clan they grew up in. It's probably nature's way of avoiding inbreeding. So once males turn 2 or so, they leave their clan and strike out on a lonely, dangerous search for a clan with better mating prospects. Lots of other mammalian males do the same thing, but for them, the transition to a new group is an opportunity to challenge high-ranking individuals and increase their social standing. Not so for male hyenas. They endure aggressive hazing by the new clan before even being allowed to join. And once a male does gain acceptance, he becomes the very lowest ranking hyena in the pecking, or bone-cracking order. The tastiest food rarely makes its way down to him, and there's no way to move up the social hierarchy besides simply waiting, either for new males to join the clan below him, or for males ahead of him to die. No adult male will ever top a single female, resulting in a female-dominated hierarchy. This is all weird. Unlike most mammals, male hyenas are subordinate to females, which is probably because, unlike most mammals, female hyenas are bigger and meaner than males, which is probably thanks to their need to stand up for their offspring in this kind of crazy feeding frenzy. And, unlike pretty much all mammals, physically fit or socially capable individuals can't make their way to the top of hyena society to do most of the decision and baby making. They're the only social mammals we know of with such a rigid hierarchy, and we don't.
It was going to go about a minute and a half. So can you tell me, does that look like a hierarchy of the Black community?
Yeah, it do.
Do you see the young males today as being more dominant than the females, more can be put in that position that women will respect them and put them above them?
Wait, I'm sorry. Ask me the question.
That wasn't succinct. I'm sorry. Do you see the Black community now today? Do you see the males can be, elevated to be above a woman majority of the time?
Can they be elevated to be above
in the community, not interpersonal?
In the community,
personally, in the community.
No, not above a woman. No.
But when you said about biology, we can choose to do other than other mammals, other biological mammals, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the hierarchy. This is what we see right now.
Right.
Is that a place that you think can grow, that we can grow from being in this position?
Absolutely. We can
stand at the top of this.
Women, I think if women can make room at the top for the men and the men actually want to be there, then yeah, we have this, like you said, that we're territorial.
But the men want to be there. Why is that? The men. So hold on. The women have to make room.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen in any other race?
No.
Okay. So if it don't happen in any other race, okay. Once again, follow-up question. Do you think the Black community is at the bottom of other races?
Yeah, as a whole, yeah.
As a whole, okay. So why do women have to make room for Black men?
Because we're at the top. We're doing better than Black men, generally speaking.
No, you're not. Why you say that? Because the figures don't say the same thing. Why do you think we're above Black men?
Because it seems like we're progressing more.
Yeah, progressing, but why do you think you're above Black men when Black men been at a certain level for the whole time?
Because they're not progressing.
Okay, but if we're at a certain level,
mm-hmm.
That's the level being $50,000. Let's put a number on it just to make because it's hard, like talking theory without figures.
Right.
Black men been at $50,000 since the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's inflated. I'm just throwing a number.
Right.
What it is, and Black women are still trying to get that $50,000 mark as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like Black women are okay. I didn't know that. Oh. Why is you not? Hold on, let me see. I'm sorry. 1 second. As a whole, like unmute yourself, then Ashley, or something's going on. You have to go out and come back in because you can hear us, but you're totally grayed out on this thing.
Yeah, we're not seeing you at all.
Yeah. So as a whole, why do you feel Black women above Black men when they're still trying to catch up?
Because we're progressing. We are.
Realistically.
Yeah, realistically.
How do you feel they're above us?
Like first, okay, because like I said, Black women are progressing. I personally don't think I don't think we're above anybody else. I think we are equivalents, not necessarily equals,
mm-hmm.
but equivalents,
mm-hmm.
and that this whole power struggle for dominance is what's effing us up. Mm-hmm. That's my personal belief.
Okay, so
That's my personal opinion.
personal side, your personal opinions and thoughts aside.
But yeah,
Observable
so
reality.
when we look at, the amount of education Black women get, when we look at the amount of Black women starting their own businesses, and they're moving up the hierarchy faster. And even though we talk about Black men being at a spot, and you can't disregard the fact that they're still men, and men still get paid higher. Like there's even though Black men are oppressed, there are still privileges that they have from a male dominated society. Okay. So it just is.
We're gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna give my rebuttal to that. We're gonna put a pin in it because we're gonna go over your side. I'm gonna join you to have this conversation on your side. So okay. We're gonna finish this conversation about the oppression. This. So my answer to that is, men don't get paid more because they're men. So they get paid more because they have more dangerous jobs, and dangerous jobs pay more, right?
Yeah.
More physical jobs pay more than what women have. So that's why men get paid more. It's not because we're men and we're part of the patriarchy, because the patriarchy don't give a damn about Black men.
Not necessarily, but that's one point of it. The other point of it is, women have babies, so they take time off.
And that's true.
And they can progress. So the system is set up for a man to be able to progress.
It's not the system when you take time off, because we're talking hours per hours. It's not the system. You get paid for what you do, right? You get paid for the hours you work. The 34 hours per week is something like the women, 36, 34 hours per week. Men do like maybe 40 plus, 40, almost 50 plus. So per hour, if we were at the same level, right, and men got paid more, then we could say, yeah, men are part of patriarchy, get paid more. But the thing is, we take on more. We take on worse jobs. We take on heavier lifting jobs. We take on the jobs that women don't want to do. Ditch digging, climbing them high as because I work in telecommunications.
Those poles and stuff.
Yeah, the high as cell site poles. They get paid money.
So
jobs make more.
So what do you say about a situation when a man and a woman have the same background, education background or whatever, the same experience level, and the man gets paid more? They're doing the same job. What is that?
You have to show me that, and whenever that happens, right? Google was in a lawsuit like that. Whenever it happens, they get caught. No, they pay heavily for that. So the rules, the laws totally go against what women actually believe about this pay gap. I'm not saying it don't happen. It happens. Right. But once they get caught, they pay heavily.
But the thing is, they have to get caught first.
Okay, but that's not the norm, because
that's another topic, because we can talk about,
let's put a pin in it. We'll get
how the hourly, and you don't talk about that. But all that to say this, to go back to your original point, I think women seem to be progressing more. We seem to be uplifting each other more. Men don't really uplift each other. Matter of fact, y'all your number one enemy.
And women aren't their number one enemy? Come on now.
Not to the point where we're taking our lives. Not like that. Like y'all.
No, not like that. But y'all.
Yeah. So I do think so, but not to that point. I think women can come. As long as it's not a man involved, a woman can get together and kind of
we don't talk about that because we kind of differ on that opinion.
Make some stuff happen, but
we differ on that too.
So yeah. I think going forward, I think that kind of the way we fix this is, first of all, what you call them, F boys. We got to leave the F boys and the bitter bees where they at. Leave them where they're at. The men and the women got to come together and talk to each other and say, this is, come up with a plan together, because as a woman, I can see things that you can't. as a man, you can see things that I can't. And so it doesn't have to be a situation of who is over who. Whatever strengths I have, that's where I run point. Whatever strengths you have, that's where you run point. And whatever we're weak in together, we figure out together. So I think that's the first thing. We got to leave these F boys and F girls where they at, or whatever you want to call them. We got to leave them where they at. That's the first thing. The second thing we got to do is we got to talk to these babies, and we can't be scared of the mamas and the daddies, or we can't be scared. When we see them doing wrong, we got to call them out. When we see them doing right, we got to call them out. When I go into my kids' school, I'm everybody's mother. There's not a child that can come in. Like I'm like Beyonce when I walk into school. They all know me. They run up, they hug me, because my thing is, you're in a classroom with my daughter. If you're mentally unstable and you're not good, you put my baby in harm. So I'm gonna make sure I'm loving on every last one of you. If I see you need something, if I see you out of line, no. That's not how young women behave. No. That's not how young men behave. This is the way you should do this. And I dare your mama to come say something to me, because I'm gonna tell her that's not how women behave. I think if we can do that, if we can get our babies together, and if we can stop trying to say, you can't save everybody. You can't bring everybody with you. We need to cut our losses, throw them out the ship.
So once again, that's what I was saying about as far as, we're gonna have to get some women that actually, y'all have to create, what's the acceptable laws, because women have my bad. Women have the kids. Women have reign over the household a lot of times, so they're going to have to set the standard of what's acceptable laws. When we do X, Y, Z, we come to the table. First of all, when we do X, Y, Z. Yeah, there's some parents. This happened in New Orleans where this woman got dragged to national news. They carjacked this woman. There's one boy, 3 girls. Carjacked this woman, this white woman, dragged her, dismembered her arm, and killed her. Right. The mother, the parents, I don't know if it was parents, but I know the mother was a part of it. I don't know if the father was part of it, but they turned their daughters in, right? Because this is not what we need to be upholding in society. Like, they need to be a standard. I think during the let me stop this. We're going to go back. Let me put this clip, this which call them up, because this is part of the solution. I think we should be focusing on telling the kids to do. I think will serve every young person well to speak to an older person they trust, 50 years or older, regardless of financial status, and have a conversation about how the decisions they made in their 20s and 30s impacted their life now. I think we get back to having our elderly be the setting of standards, because we don't listen to our elderly, right? And there's a problem now because of social media, right? We have older people, not elderly, but we have older people doing the same thing these younger people are doing, wanting to be cool and want to be included and all that other stuff, so they won't feel old, right? And that gave away our power, and our kids have all the power, that dynamic.
And the thing about social media is the danger. It's a double-edged sword.
It is. But like everything else that happens in this world, Black people suffer more than anybody else.
Yeah, because it's given an outlet where, we're seeing these things and we're thinking this is how the whole is behaving. Well, you see the chicks twerking down the news feed and half dressed. You see the dudes in the camera flashing their money and guns and stuff, and you start thinking that this is what we are. Because it's magnified.
Not only you don't think that, but think about the kids coming up seeing this, right?
Right.
You're the next generation, so it's not even about people thinking this way. You are actually programming the next generation. They see
too, but it's so much that doesn't get seen too, and so it's not.
But what gets seen, once again, public moments is what's shaping these next generations, and we have.
That's true. That's true too.
Control of this, we can't, like, when you have older people once again doing the same things younger people doing, and not creating videos saying, "No, we're not doing this." As adults, as grown adults, as men and women, we're not standing for this because it turns out bad. We don't have enough video, and not only do we don't have enough videos, but when we do have them videos like this, nobody shares it.
Nobody is sharing them.
Watch because it's responsible. Nobody wants to do the responsible shit in our community, and it's
Because everybody wants somebody else to fix it.
and we can't do that. This is another solution I think is that really was going to happen. We're going to have to be uncomfortable. We have to be uncomfortable for a few years. This is
that ain't baby.
It says 1 or 2 years. No, I think more like 5 to 10 years. I think more like 5 to 10 years. We're going to have to be uncomfortable.
I think that's what the number one thing is. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable.
And this is my thing with that is that
instant gratification.
Oh yeah. But think about this, and I'm gonna get your final thoughts after I say this.
Okay.
Back in our past generation, Martin Luther King generation, right? They believed in saving the community. They put their life on the line to save this community. Right now, we are failing our ancestors. We have failed and are failing our ancestors because we don't want to work for what the next generation has to get. We don't want to put anything on the line. You asked the average. I've had conversations with men and women, and when I pose this question, what are you willing to give up for the community? What are you willing to give up for the community? For the men, I get, well, I talk to my sons, I to my children, whatever. It's not enough. It's not enough. Because you're only affecting one generation of your lineage. As women, usually, I don't need to give up nothing, and it's like, all that, just, and it's kind of the same message. I just take care of me and mine. Well, that's not enough, especially when we're not partnering together as adults. We're not working together to get a better
right. Like we're not even looking out for the kids on our block. On our own block. So if we're not even willing to look out for the people, your neighbors, we're so the same independence that you're talking about that Black women have, Black people as a whole have. I don't need you. I don't need anybody else, and can't nobody tell me what to do. And we will cut off our nose to spite our face.
Okay, I'm not. We're stopping the debates because I got something. I'm not. Go ahead. Final thoughts. I'm done.
So yeah, I guess my final thoughts on it all is, like I said, we kind of gotta leave the people that want to be where they at, the people that are happy being dysfunctional, they're happy in toxicity. Let them stay there. Let them stay there. We gotta stop the whole, I'm going to try to pull you up, build you. No, you gotta build yourself up. You have to, and when I say build yourself up, I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're not living your life in a way to get more, then it's not up to me to give you more. And that's for men and women. Focus on these babies. Be the change you want to see. If you say you don't like something, then don't give that attention to it.
Ashley wants to connect with you, Diane. So just you could
I would hit you.
Put in the comments or hit up.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. Oh, I didn't even know I had a whole little.
You didn't know that was down there? Oh shit, she took us up. Anyway, I appreciate everybody. I don't know if she's coming back in, but I appreciate everybody like riding this long. This is the longest I've ever did a live. And I think it was because this is an important topic I think everyone needs to be focused on. We don't focus on this enough, trying to build a Black community, trying to heal ourselves, trying to bridge. Oh, she's back. Trying to bridge this divide we have. We need to place a face on it. We need to put we need to name what's the issue is, and appreciate it, sis. Yeah, she said I'm so proud. Yeah, we need to put a face on. We need to set standards and boundaries for our community as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need to have gray areas for these people to hide within them areas, because it needs to be strict, and we can't be all inclusive for a term of lack of a better term when it comes to people that are doing wrong in our community. We can't partner with this. We can't keep that going because it undermines our community. Like I said, I appreciate everybody coming along, Diana. I appreciate you coming up because I reached out to a few females and nobody wanted to.
Look, I'm always down for good conversation, and I'm down to hear other people's perspectives. Like, I am not closed-minded at all, and I take away from everything that somebody says, and I'll be thinking, I can think about it critically with my logical brain that I have. And see how, what you say, it makes sense. I like to see the world from other people's perspectives, because especially when we're talking about the Black community, because I didn't grow up like a lot of Black people did. So I got a different point of view.
And I want to thank my other guest, Ashley. Miss Ashley Pitts, as always, sis, I love you. I appreciate you coming on every time I reach out. Support me like you support me. I appreciate you. Everybody go to Black Girl Interrupted, all platforms, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. Everybody, like, subscribe. Anna, shout your group out again.
Yeah, you guys can check me out on the Drama Club Podcast and Lounge, and on Facebook. We're just getting started up, but we have pretty good, interesting discussions where we kind of talk about, life stuff, everything. Nothing's pretty much off limits. So I go live on Mondays and Fridays at 5 o'clock. So you can, and we have our guest on Wednesdays. So please come over and interact with us, ask questions. If you want to hear some more of me talking in circles and my little crazy theories about things, then that's where you can check me out there.
All right, folks. Appreciate the time. Have a good evening.
Bye.